Chapter 786. I was born afraid of dogs. I want to go back to the car. Me too. Oh my god, this is too smelly. You guys are a group of geniuses who fell to the human world, aren't you? The dean waved his hand impatiently. Those who are afraid go to the car and wait. I really believe you guys and think that you can serve society. This kind of scene was already very gentle for someone who was about to become a forensic doctor. The dean turned around to look at Wuxia and saw that she was squatting on the ground and playing with the cat. He asked Wuxia, "Chi-Chi, can you bathe the cat?" Yes. People like Wuxia were really strange. She was born in a rich family and was the daughter of a rich family. She had a strong background and was doted on by Xianxia. However, she did not act like a rich young lady at all. She could do any dirty work with a roll-up of her sleeves and did not care about her identity at all. Perhaps it was because of Wuxia's attitude that the boys felt embarrassed. The group of them could only endure the stench and go to the rescue station to bathe the cats and dogs. "You're not delicate." The dean gave Wuxia a thumbs up. "If I really become a forensic doctor, there's no room for me to act coquettishly. The working environment of a forensic doctor is corrupt and dark to begin with. I should be grateful to be able to serve these little things." Wuxia did not think much of it. She was holding a little white cat in her arms. That was because she saw the tags hanging around the animals' necks. In other words, they had indeed been vaccinated. Unfortunately, a group of people don't understand. The dean sighed. If they don't even have mercy for animals, how can they have respect for life? I also know that these people are just here to get a diploma. After they go out, who would still do such a dirty and smelly job? Especially girls. They can't bear this hardship at all. Of course you're different. Your vision is not something that others can compare to. The dean had high hopes for Wuxia, which made Wuxia understand the deeper meaning of the dean's actions. He made such an arrangement because he wanted to see the student's character and temperament. Of course, it was difficult for those who had not experienced hardships to understand the dean's conscience. As for the car, most of them were girls. When they saw Wuxia helping at the rescue station, they felt uncomfortable. She likes to be in the limelight. This kind of dirty and smelly thing shouldn't be done by girls. That's right. She is favored by the dean, but she put us on the grill. What does the dean think of us? It's so disgusting. I even saw a lot of beasts with broken limbs. Although Zhou Xian felt that Wuxia didn't do the right thing last night, she didn't think that these gossips made sense. So she stood up and said, "The reason why Chi-Chi isn't afraid of this is because she has seen all kinds of body parts in the forensics lab. Of course she wouldn't be afraid. But all of you are afraid of everything after studying forensics. Are you going to hide like this when you go out to the field to examine body parts?" With that, Zhou Xian took off her coat and prepared to get out of the car to look for Wuxia. However, the girl in the bikini yesterday blocked Zhou Xian's way. "Did Wuxia go on a date with Li Kongwen last night? Don't tell me you don't know that you're sleeping next to her? Why should you worry about other people's private affairs?" Zhou Xian asked her in return. "She's a slut. She's clearly a married woman, but she's still fooling around. Someone saw Wuxia sneaking out of the room last night and only coming back before dawn. I don't believe that as her roommate you don't know. If you're so curious, why don't you ask Li Kongwen? Ask him if he was with Wuxia last night." Zhou Xian pushed her away. After all, she had the advantage of her figure. She couldn't stand being bullied by others. However, she couldn't answer Wuxia's question. B*TV. To be asterisk cheese. After Zhou Xian got out of the car, she went to Wuxia's side. After watching her bathe the cat for a while, she asked, "Chi-Chi, you left the room last night, right?" He found out. "I got up at night," Zhou Xian answered. "Did you go on a date with Li Kongwen? Otherwise, I really can't figure out why you went out in the middle of the night. Also, because of this matter, the girl who hit you with a ball yesterday was talking to someone in the car just now. She said that you're having an affair and fooling around." "I did sleep outside last night. In the hotel next door, my husband bought a piece of land here and came to patrol. He booked a sea-view room and called me over. I didn't think it was good to stay out, so I didn't tell you," Wuxia explained casually. "I see. You can tell me." Zhou Xian heaved a sigh of relief. "I'm used to being alone. I didn't think it was a big deal, so I didn't say anything. I didn't expect it to cause such a big commotion. Those gossipy women might even think of some tricks to bully you." Zhou Xian didn't mind that Wuxia didn't trust her. After all, the two of them had never interacted before. To be fair, just because they were roommates, did they have to confide in each other? Let them be. In that case, I'll leave in my family's car in the afternoon. Mu Qiqi's meaning was obvious. She wanted to clarify things. Jiang Xingnan felt quite happy when she thought of the scene of those people seeing Xianxia. There's really a lot of trouble in a place with a lot of girls. It doesn't matter. I just need to know where my direction is. That's enough. This was probably Mu Qiqi's shining point. Jiang Xingnan thought to herself, if you need me in the future, bring me along. I also want to see a real murder scene. This girl was generous and forthright, which made Mu Qiqi feel comfortable. So she nodded. If there's a chance, I'll introduce you to the police officers from the branch office. There were only 2 or 3 girls among the group of volunteers. Many boys still didn't want to lose face in front of the women. However, there weren't many who really wanted to serve these kids. After that, a group of people stood at the entrance of the rescue station and took photos. The dean called all the students out and put on the airs of education. Today you guys have disappointed me. It's not because of Mu Qiqi, but because you don't understand the meaning of life at all. You're all university students. In 2 or 3 years you'll be serving the entire society. You probably haven't understood what you've chosen and what knives you're holding in your hands. Even the most basic thing, taking care of cats and dogs, is dirty and tiring. If you really encounter a murder case, do you want to hide in the car like today? Chapter 787. Why is Mu Qiqi worthy of your respect? It is because she understands the value of life better than any of you. There is nothing more important in this world than life. It's a dog. It's dirty and smelly, but after it dies, it's no different from after you die. It's all a pile of dirt and a pile of bones. Everyone ends up in the same place. It's fine if you want to be pretentious. Anyway, you won't be able to stay in the Faculty of Forensic Science for long. Whether she's a dragon or a worm, you'll know when you get out. Why is it that whenever Mu Qiqi is mentioned, the first thing that comes to mind is the case she participated in and her outstanding personality? Because she is professional, she doesn't need to rely on any background, she can still become a dragon among men. Because she has never stopped working hard just because she has a lot of things. I'm a little talkative today. After returning to Jianchuan in school, you can forget all about it and continue living the life you want, eating, drinking, and having fun. That's all I have to say. In the future, I won't bother you with such things. The dean's words were especially piercing to the ears of the students. However, they couldn't find any words to refute, because this was their current situation. At this moment, they all had pride and shame. The morning activity is over, and there's another activity in the afternoon. That's the end of this spring outing. Now, as you wish, you can return to the resort. Although there were still some people who were stubborn, most people would learn to reflect. After all, not everyone came from a rich family. It was not easy to get into Xingting University. But after they got in, they would be wasting their time. They would feel ashamed of themselves. However, the dean had always treated Mu Qiqi as a role model for everyone, which caused the girls in the faculty to feel uncomfortable. Mu Qiqi does pass in her studies. We can't deny that, but her private life is rotten and her relationships are messy. How dare the dean use her as an example? Bah! I really want to teach Mu Qiqi a lesson. Can any of you come up with a good idea? Normal methods won't teach Mu Qiqi a lesson at all. You'll even get yourself into trouble. If that was the case, why not call Zhongting and report her affair with Li Kongguan? I don't believe that Xianxia would tolerate her being a cuckold. After the group of girls returned to their rooms, they gathered together and had a heated discussion. In the end, they agreed that calling Zhongting anonymously was the best way to take revenge on Mu Qiqi. In the afternoon, the secretary's office received an anonymous call, claiming that there was an urgent matter and was looking for Xianxia. The secretary received the message from her assistant and relayed it to Xianxia. "So, someone called your office anonymously just now, saying that it's related to Madam." Xianxia smiled faintly. "Any Tom, Dick, or Harry can talk to me now? Then I'll tell my assistant to ignore it. In fact, if it were something else, the secretary's office wouldn't dare to disturb you. It's only because it's related to Madam that they're a little nervous." With that, the secretary turned around and was about to reply to the secretary's office, but Xianxia stopped her. "Give them your number. I want to see what trouble Chier has caused this time." "Yes, President." In fact, even if she thought with her toes, she would know that it must be Mu Qiqi's classmates. They did not like her and wanted to take revenge on her or something like that. For the past 2 days, there had been rumors about her and that hunk of the faculty. It was another anonymous call. Wasn't this a blatant lie? However, he also wanted to know who exactly was the person that was trying to stir up trouble behind the scenes. Why? She was better than them, yet she couldn't do it? Soon the call was picked up. The secretary handed the phone to Xianxia, but Xianxia did not pick it up. Put it on speaker. Okay. The secretary turned the phone on speaker and placed it in front of Xianxia. If you have something to say, just say it. Piao Xing is answering the phone now. There was the sound of an electric current on the other end of the line. After a few seconds, a woman's voice was heard. We're guests of the resort. We bumped into your woman and a young man being intimate. I suspect that they have an improper relationship, so I'm calling you. I hope you won't be deceived by Muqiqi. You're a guest of the resort. You're really kind, Xianxia teased. Piao Xing, what I said is true. If you don't believe me, you can send someone over to ask. Everyone here knows. Moreover, Muqiqi sneaked out last night and went on a date with a man. Is that so? Then I really have to thank you. How about this? Leave your contact information. I'll get my secretary to send you a gift as a thank you gift. Oh, no need. I just think that Muqiqi is too much. That's why I'm calling you out of kindness. After hearing this, Xianxia looked up at the secretary. The secretary understood what he meant. He picked up the phone and said to the other party, Hello, Xiao Xing is a person who will repay kindness. You've provided such an important clue. He must reward you. Is it convenient for you to leave your contact information for me? Xianxia knew that the secretary would take care of this matter. He just felt that university students from famous universities, especially those from the forensic science department, were really too free. A moment later, the secretary returned to the secretary's side with the phone. I've already got the name. I'll send someone to the resort next door to ask later. Don't worry though. Things here are almost done. Pick up Chi in the afternoon. I want to see that girl then. Understood. Xianxia was doing big things. He bought the largest land in the bay to develop, and at the same time he played riddles with university students. It had to be said that he was really energetic. However, the secretary knew very well that it was because of Muqiqi. As long as it was related to Madame, he was willing to do it himself, no matter how small it was. Even so, in the secretary's heart, the person he liked the most was still Madame. After all, Xianxia was so powerful, but he still couldn't withstand Madame's coquettish words. Xianxia did not tell Muqiqi about Muqiqi's call. Although she would not take it to heart, he did not want these messy things to ruin Muqiqi's good mood. However, the girls who plotted it thought that their revenge had succeeded. If I had known, I would have called. Zhongting's gift must be very rich. This is nothing. As long as it can make Muqiqi unable to be smug anymore, it's not important. But they did not react at all. What kind of man would give someone a gift the moment he heard that his woman had cheated on him? What was the structure of these women's brains? In the afternoon, there was a competition organized by the seaside. Because there were no stray cats and dogs, the group of people became more active. Chapter 788. Muqiqi did not think much of it. After all, it was only an afternoon. In the future, even if the dean threw a tantrum, she would not agree to participate in any activities in the department. At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the event had come to an end. Xianxia called Muqiqi to ask about the time and asked his secretary to arrange for the two of them to go to the resort next door. A moment later, Xianxiao's car stopped on the beach. When the dean saw him, he quickly went up to him. President Xing, are you here to pick Qiqi up? There's something else, Xianxia answered as he looked in Muqiqi's direction. When everyone saw Xianxia appear, the girls could not help but look at each other. They thought that their call had worked and Xianxia had come to settle the score with Muqiqi, so they could not help but feel smug. Wasn't Muqiqi going to be in big trouble? Dean, the girls in the forensic department seem to be quite free. Why do you say that, President Xing? The dean was a little confused. Although he had heard some rumors, such things were very common in the school, so he did not pay attention to them. Someone called Zhongting's secretary, Xianxia said mysteriously. You might not know, but I was in the hotel next door last night, so I called Cheer over. Her didn't alert anyone, but she was misunderstood as having an ambiguous late-night date with a male classmate. After hearing Xianxiao's words, the dean's expression turned a little ugly. This Don't blame me, Dean. After all, the school is only responsible for teaching and educating people. You can't control something like IQ. Xianxia lowered his head and smiled. The dean felt extremely embarrassed. Although this matter had nothing to do with him, this group of people were all university students. Why did they still act like high school students playing house? Did they not know the severity of the situation? They're all children. They don't know the severity of the matter. Please forgive them, President Sheng. Xianxia turned around and glanced at the secretary. The secretary immediately reported the name to the dean. Of course I want to forgive them, but since they can call Zhongting, they will spread rumors about Qi everywhere when they return to the school. What do you think, Dean? I'm thinking too simply. I'll handle it. Don't worry, President Sheng. The dean sighed. He felt his face turn red and ashamed. Then the dean returned to the activity venue and called the girl who made the phone call to the side to educate her. Zhou Xian, how can you spread false rumors and slander your classmates? Director, what do you mean by slander? Mu Qiqi didn't abide by the school's rules and went out in the middle of the night to have a private date with a boy. Can't others talk about it? How can you be so sure that Mu Qiqi went out to meet a man in private? Did you see it or did someone see it? The dean was so angry that his face turned red. You're an adult, not a child. Can you consider the consequences before you do something? Just because of your own subjective assumptions, you casually slandered a classmate's reputation. Do you know how much harm and trouble you will bring to others? I'm not the only one who thinks so. Everyone else thinks so. If you don't believe me, you can ask them. Zhou Xian pointed at the female student who was moving around not far away and said, if Mu Qiqi were to behave herself, would we have a chance to talk about it? Alright, you can go back now. The director felt a headache coming on. It seemed like he had to find a chance to clarify things with everyone. Zhou Xian still looked aggrieved. When she returned to her classmates, she cried, it was clearly Mu Qiqi's fault, but the dean still scolded me. What happened? The classmate beside her asked. Isn't it just Mu Qiqi going out to look for a man in the middle of the night? Zhou Xian looked at Mu Qiqi with hatred. TV. She was the one who didn't behave properly. Keep your voice down. Why should I keep my voice down? I want to be loud. Mu Qiqi, tell everyone, where did you go last night? Zhou Xian directly made things difficult for Mu Qiqi. You didn't sleep in your room last night. Your roommates must know very well. Mu Qiqi, what did you do last night? Mu Qiqi turned around and straightened her back. She looked at Zhou Xian pitifully and replied casually, I went to look for a man. Why? Look, she admitted it herself. She wasn't in her room last night. He went to look for a man. I didn't wrongly accuse her. Zhou Xian said excitedly. Everyone looked at Mu Qiqi in surprise. Xianxia was still not far away. Did she want to die? Moreover, she really went to look for a man in private. She was really shameless to the extreme. However, Mu Qiqi laughed. She was so angry that she laughed. She pointed at Xianxia, who was not far away, and retorted to Zhou Xian, my husband is in the hotel next door. I went over to have a meal and sleep with him. Do I have to report to you? Everyone reacted for a few seconds before understanding what Mu Qiqi meant. Did she mean that Mu Qiqi did not sleep in her room last night and only returned before dawn because she went to look for Xianxia? If you still don't believe me, you can go over and ask who Mu Qiqi was with last night. As if they had just woken up from a dream, their faces immediately turned red. They knew that the misunderstanding had blown up. If your brain isn't working, don't force it. How dare you spread rumors without seeing it with your own eyes? Do you think that Zhongting's lawyer's letter is too beautiful and you want to collect a copy? It's fine. I'll fulfill your wish. Zhou Xian's arrogance dissipated the moment Mu Qiqi told the truth. She knew that it was embarrassing. Therefore, in the face of Mu Qiqi's domineering attitude, she could not say a word. She could only keep looking elsewhere and even wanted to find a hole to hide in. Xianxia, who was not far away, saw the situation. He probably knew that the matter had blown up, so he gestured to the secretary beside him to deliver the gift. The secretary walked briskly to the activity venue and said to everyone, I'm CO Sheng's secretary. May I know who you are, Miss Zhou? Zhou Xian immediately remembered that she had left her contact information with Zhongting when she called. She immediately felt guilty. However, with so many people present and only her surname was Zhou, she could not deny it. It's me. Thank you for calling Zhongting this afternoon. Piao Xing has sent you a gift. With that, the secretary took out a lawyer's letter from her bag and handed it to Zhou Xian. I seem to have forgotten to tell you that although I'm a secretary now, I'm a lawyer. I also have a law firm. After Zhou Xian took it, she immediately collapsed to the ground. No, this is a misunderstanding. I just misunderstood Qiqi. But I'm not the only one involved in this matter. There are others. They want to take revenge on Qiqi. Mu Qiqi really could not be bothered to look at this scene. The school was such a sacred place. Why did people always like to play tricks here? Chapter 789. You're also an adult. Even if you hate me and want to target me, you should find out whether things are as you think they are. You don't have any evidence. Do you really think a lie can become a truth just because you're talking nonsense? Or do you think that everyone in the world is like you, not using their brains? Mu Qiqi stared at the pair of hands hugging her thighs. I was just instigated by someone. You're so stupid. I really feel sorry for you, Mu Qiqi said mockingly. Then she turned to look at the secretary. Sister, let's forget about it this time. It's already like this. There's no hope. I'll listen to you. The secretary smiled. But I'm warning you, if there are any unfavorable rumors about me in the school in the future, I'll blame it on you. And that lawyer's letter is ready for you at any time. Did the others see it? The group of girls who wanted to take revenge on Mu Qiqi immediately looked away guiltily. Mu Qiqi did not want to waste any more time. She broke free from Zhou Xian and walked away. Dean, I want to leave early. Go. The dean answered Mu Qiqi straightforwardly. After all, she had been wronged. Moreover, the activities of the others were almost over. Thank you, Dean. Mu Qiqi turned around and glanced at Zhou Xian again. Then she walked towards Xianxia with the secretary. Why didn't you tell me that someone called you? Mu Qiqi looked at Xianxia reproachfully. Why would I tell you? To make you feel disgusted for a while longer? Xianxia put his arm around her waist and led her into the car. Let's go home. Third brother called. The child in the hospital has woken up. Don't you want to go and take a look? Of course. The others watched Mu Qiqi leave in Xianxia's car. They were all dumbfounded. What are you looking at? Isn't it embarrassing enough? Pack up your things and go home. You're so stupid, yet you're still trying to frame others. When the two of them arrived at the hospital, Xing Bowen and Mu Qiqi had just arrived at the door of Xiao Juyu's ward. With her grandfather by her side, Xiao Juyu was in good spirits. I just asked the doctor. The doctor said that the injuries from the car accident will recover very quickly. However, her leukemia can't be delayed any longer. She needs a bone marrow transplant, so I've already asked the hospital to do a match as soon as possible. Xing Bowen told Mu Qiqi as he stood at the door of the ward. You don't have to blame yourself. After all, she was framed. She was hurt because of me. Aren't you trying to redeem yourself? Mu Qiqi patted his shoulder. It's useless to put so much pressure on yourself. If I can successfully find a compatible bone marrow, then I can be considered to have completed my mission. Xiao Jiyu's grandfather was behind the door. When he heard their conversation, his eyes turned red. It's all the child's uncle and aunt's fault. President Xing, you're also a victim. You've helped us enough. The old man was about to kneel when he saw Xing Bowen, but Xing Bowen helped him up. Xiao. Xiao. Xiao Xiao. 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 Grandpa, Xiao Yu. This old man has nothing. I am penniless and have nothing. Apart from thanking you, there is nothing I can do for you. Grandpa Meng, you're too kind. Xiao Jiyu saw her savior through the crack in the door. Her grandfather said that he was her savior. She thought that when she saw her uncle in the future, she must thank him in person. Today was too tiring. Too tiring. After visiting Xiao Jiyu, the group returned to the Xing family. However, Mu Qiqi believed that Xiao Jiyu was not really out of danger. Since Xing Yu was from that side, if Xiao Jiyu died, it would be more beneficial for them to take down Xing Bowen. Therefore, Xing Xiao still arranged for people to keep an eye on Xiao Jiyu's safety at all times. Li Kongwen has already told me the name of the hotel where his sister once appeared in J City. I think it might be related to Su Hong and Zhou Xian. I'll give all of this back to Captain Tang. I believe it will definitely help him. Xing Xiao suppressed Mu Qiqi's urge to make a call and snatched her phone. Tang Yan knows how to arrange these things. Just treat this matter as the past. Don't mention it to anyone else. Mu Qiqi turned her head to look at Xianxia. Although she was puzzled, she still nodded. I understand. It's third brother's side now. Continue to deal with Xinyu. I don't even know how to act cool when investigating cases, but I'm more than capable of pretending to be innocent. Sheng Bowen made an okay gesture. I just didn't expect you to be able to gather clues when you went on a spring outing. It's just a coincidence. I'll let that Xinyu get carried away. I'll let him think that he's in control of my entire life, Sheng Bowen said in amusement. This was his strength. No matter how difficult the situation was, he could find joy in it and never complain. Don't worry. Even if you really go in, I'll definitely think of a way to send those 2B asterisk cheese to keep you company. When Rin Yufei heard this, her expression changed. Sheng Bowen quickly said, she's joking. The four of them went to the Sheng family to meet the old man. After accompanying him for dinner, Xianxia brought Mu Qiqi back to the banyan courtyard. However, along the way Mu Qiqi did not say anything. This was not like her character. Why aren't you saying anything? I'm thinking about Bai Sini's case, Mu Qiqi replied. Xiao, do you know? Actually, it's all a lie to say that humans are born kind. Children are no different from animals when they're born. They all follow their nature. That's why some people are born cold-blooded. Their genes carry violent genes and they're also indifferent to life. And the most valuable thing about humans is the ability to restrain and control themselves. Xing Kai, Qing Bin, that Xinyu and the people behind them, I believe that sooner or later they will pay the price for the lives they ignore. Yes, your awareness has improved quite well. Originally, if they wanted to save Xing Bowen, they thought that they would have to obtain new information from J City or seize the other party's lifeline. However, now that Xinyu had joined the fray, it gave Xing Xiao and Tang Yan a buffer. While Mu Qiqi was sleeping soundly, Xing Xiao spoke to Tang Yan in the study. The informant has successfully sneaked in and saw Mama Bai in the hotel. Just as Qiqi guessed, not only did this Mama Bai bury her daughter, but she also continues to do the pimp business. She's sitting in a wheelchair, but she's still restless. We have to find a reason to arrest her and interrogate her properly. Don't alert the enemy now. The most important thing is to find out who those victims served and why they died, Xing Xiao said. Can't the Sheng family start with Sheng Kai? Chapter 790. If you have the time, you might as well keep an eye on Mama Bai. I'll get Su Che to arrange this matter. It's too easy to recognize the police. Tang Yan had no objections. Even if the chief did not agree, he had to investigate this matter thoroughly. He could not let old Qing suffer in vain. 3 days later, the traffic accident responsibility certificate was issued. Although Xing Bowen had been framed, he had driven away after the incident and did not take the initiative to call the police. It had indeed constituted an escape. Therefore, the police came with the certificate. Xing Bowen was very calm. He only instructed Rin Yufei, when I'm not around, the vice president will temporarily take over my duties. You have to help him. Bowen, I don't have that kind of mind. Rin Yufei's face was pale. I'll be out soon. Don't worry and stay at home. Visit Jiyu for me from time to time. Rin Yufei's eyes were red. It was obvious that she couldn't bear to part with him. She really wished that she was the one in trouble, but she could not do much for Xing Bowen. Now she could not afford to panic. Moreover, Qiqi and Xing Xiao were there. Although subconsciously she felt that it was really shameful to rely on others for everything. Xing Bowen did not let her follow him. He only asked someone to inform Xinyu that it was time for the great lawyer to show off his powers. However, the news of the CEO of Huang Yao's arrest quickly spread. This was the so-called bad news travels 1,000 miles. Xinyu quickly went to the detention center with his briefcase. In the detention center he successfully saw Xing Bowen. I'm arranging for you to be released on bail pending trial, so I might have to trouble you to stay inside for a while. I've already made thorough arrangements for this matter. Just leave everything to me. You're the lawyer that 8th brother hired from the United States. I've entrusted my life to you. You must do your best. As expected, Xing Bowen pretended to be naive and sweet, as if he was being dominated by Xinyu. Don't worry, I'll give you a satisfactory answer. In fact, the Xing family's lawyer was a little shocked at the news. Although he knew that Xing Xiao had asked him to secretly prepare for the lawsuit, it was still unbelievable that Xing Bowen's case was filed as a criminal case. Several conditions had to be met to constitute an escape. Subjectively, Xing Bowen must have known that the accident had happened and deliberately evaded responsibility. The police investigation team could find out from all aspects that Xing Bowen was unconscious at the time. Otherwise, how could he go shopping with his wife and go home so calmly? Secondly, objectively speaking, Xing Bowen did not violate any traffic regulations. He did not violate any traffic regulations. Moreover, he was framed so the victim could be held fully responsible. Moreover, as for the victim Xiao Jiyu, Xing Bowen actively cooperated with the compensation. The victim expressed her understanding. No matter what, this matter should not have been filed. She did not know who was behind it. In fact, this was only the second step of Jin Bo's plan. Xing Bowen's case was destined to be reversed when Xiao Jiyu's uncle and aunt were arrested. However, in order to achieve his ultimate goal, Jin Bo would carry out the second step of the plan. After the criminal case was filed and Xing Bowen was arrested, Xingyu would release him on bail pending trial, and then arrange for an even more serious traffic accident for him. At that time, even if there were 10 Xing Xiaos, they would not be able to protect Xing Bowen. Hearing the news that Xing Bowen had been taken away, old Master Xing seemed to have aged a lot overnight. No matter how much money he earned, he would not be able to exchange for his grandson's freedom. Therefore that night old Master Xing fell ill. No one could take care of him during his illness, so he kept calling for Xiao Qi. Ren Yufei had no choice but to call Mu Qiqi. Qiqi, I didn't mean to disturb your rest, but Grandpa found out that after Bowen was arrested he fell ill. He had a high fever and kept calling your name. If you have time, can you come over and see Grandpa? It's already so late. Do you have time? I want to come over too. That old man had always caused trouble for her when he was healthy. Now that he had finally woken up, he was sick all day. Mu Qiqi quickly got up and returned to the Xing family's home with Xing Xiao. The old man was lying on the bed, unconscious. His hands were grabbing at the air. Mu Qiqi quickly grabbed it. Damn old man, I'm back. Weren't you looking for me? The old man struggled for a moment before opening his eyes. He looked at Mu Qiqi, who was sitting by the bed. Xiaoqi, I'm not dreaming, am I? I'm in the banyan courtyard. It's not like I'm far away. What are you dreaming about? Mu Qiqi rolled her eyes. You didn't know how to love third brother before. Now you know how to regret it, don't you? The old man struggled to sit up and leaned against the soft pillow. His eyes were wet. If I hadn't caused this trouble, third brother wouldn't have had to suffer. He doesn't hate you in his heart, Mu Qiqi said. Hurry up and drink your medicine. Third sister-in-law has been taking care of you for most of the night. You should let her rest too. The old man refused to listen to other people's advice. For some reason he listened to Mu Qiqi very much. Holding the bowl of medicine in his hand, he drank it all. If anything happens to you at this critical juncture, believe it or not, third brother will hate himself for the rest of his life if he finds out. Mu Qiqi threatened him. I just want him to be fine. I want to see my grandson come back. Who said your grandson won't come back? Mu Qiqi held his shoulder and said, Has my Xiao Xiao fallen out of favor? I've told you many times that he will definitely save third brother. You still don't believe me. Eighth brother, are you really confident? The plan is being carried out in an orderly manner. I won't let a single hair on your grandson's head, Xing Xiao promised as he sat at the side. The old man was satisfied. Seeing that you brothers can still support each other, even if I die, I'll be able to see clearly. Mu Qiqi was defeated by him. He used to be such a proud and tough person, but now he was acting like a child and acting coquettishly. However, he couldn't be hated. Can you sleep now? Xiao Xiao and I will stay here and watch you fall asleep before leaving. The old man was relieved. He took the medicine and closed his eyes again. Perhaps it was because of Mu Qiqi and Xing Zhao's presence that he found a long-lost sense of security, so he quickly fell asleep and slept exceptionally soundly. Who had said that? Old people and children were the same. There were very few people they truly trusted and had very little sense of security. However, she and this old man used to be like fire and water. Why did he trust her the most now? Outside the door, Ren Yufei was still busy in the study. Because Xing Bowen was not around, she had to look after Huang Yao for the Xing family. Chapter 791. You can only look for us. Xing Xiao took the opportunity to hold Mu Qiqi's hand and answer Ren Yufei. Xing Bowen was in trouble and Huang Yao was in turmoil. Wasn't that what Xing Kai wanted to see? That's great. I can rest assured now. Ren Yufei let out a sigh of relief. Seeing her like this, Muqiqi pinched Xingzhao's palm and said to him, "Wait for me in the car for a few minutes. I'll come out after I have a few words with third sister-in-law. Don't take too long." After Xingzhao instructed her, he walked out of the living room. Third sister-in-law, now that grandpa is sick and third brother has been arrested, you're the only one who can support the Xing family. You must be strong and not let Xing Kai see you as a joke. You also have to believe that third brother will be fine soon. You just need to hold on for a week. Although Ren Yufei was worried, she knew the severity of the matter, so she said to her, "Shao Qi, don't worry. Before he comes back I won't collapse." Good. After Muqiqi said that, she followed Xingzhao and left the Xing family's home. After all, there were some things that she could not bear for Ren Yufei. On the way back, Muqiqi asked Xingzhao, "About third brother, what do you plan to do with Xinyu?" "He's preparing the information for bail pending trial," Xingzhao answered as he drove the car with one hand and supported the window with the other. "I keep feeling that this Xinyu has other tricks up his sleeve. Although he's under your nose, he's still a dangerous person." Muqiqi felt uneasy, especially when she saw that the old man was seriously ill. "What happens after he's released on bail? Why don't we close the net earlier and arrange for the Xing family's lawyer to go up? I know what I'm doing. The first one to be in trouble now is Huang Yao." Late at night on the yacht, Xinyu was hugging women left and right. He was very happy on the deck, but this was all spent on Chongrong Electronics funds. This made Xing Kai very unhappy. "Kid, that useless third brother of yours has only just entered the detention center, but the good show is yet to come. Don't sigh now. This money isn't worth it for you." Xinyu mocked Xing Kai as he drank red wine. "As a person, you can't just look at the immediate benefits. Moreover, now that Huang Yao is leaderless, it's the best time for you to strike. It's such a good opportunity, yet you don't know how to thank me. You only know how to lament how I spent your money. Am I not working for you?" Xingzhao isn't easy to deal with. Did he really not notice what you did? Xing Kai still could not completely trust Xinyu. During the day this person was polite and refined, but at night he revealed his true colors and acted like a clown. Could such a person really hide from Xingzhao's eyes? He didn't believe it. "You don't believe me. Your third brother is already in jail and Xingzhao is still asking me to bail Xingbowen out. Do you know that once Xingbowen is bailed out he will fall into our second plan? You don't know anything but exaggerate the enemy's abilities. Let's wait for Xingbowen's trial document to come out first." Xing Kai kept his guard up. Seeing him like this, Xinyu smiled even more and hooked his finger at him. "Come here, I'll give you another benefit." Xing Kai approached him doubtfully. Then he heard Xinyu say, "The vice president of Huang Yao. His mother is in our hands. He will do whatever you want him to do. Even if he sells Huang Yao to you, he will be willing. Aren't you afraid that he will call the police?" "He can't do anything." Xinyu's smug smile fully showed what it meant to be a wolf's ambition. "So, tomorrow go and check your big gift bag. You only need a small amount of capital to get a lot of things from Huang Yao. Of course, if you want to nibble away at it, it's best to lure the people of Huang Yao step by step." After Xing Kai heard this, he felt that he had been possessed. That was why he felt that Xinyu's words were so attractive. The next day at Huang Yao's regular meeting, because of Xingbowen's arrest, many of the contracts that Huang Yao had already negotiated were suddenly interrupted. Either that or various foreign companies requested to terminate their contracts with Huang Yao on the grounds that Huang Yao had breached the contract. Ren Yufei sorted out the plans that Huang Yao had made for the second half of the year. Because of this matter they were almost stopped. "I've read all the briefings. At present we can lose all of our cooperation projects, but we can't terminate our cooperation with the Shengyi group. However, if we want to maintain our cooperation with them, I've also gone to talk to them. The other party has a lot of conditions. They want us to add 20% as a deposit." The vice president of Huang Yao was worried at the regular meeting. 20%. How can Huang Yao take out so much money now? The people from the finance department expressed helplessness and difficulty. "I've done some calculations. If we want to maintain our cooperation with the Shengyi group, we need to stop investing in Asia. Also, we need to sell a few pieces of land. That way we can barely make ends meet. But if we do this, the outside world will hear rumors and think that Huang Yao really can't operate anymore, so we're selling our assets." The people from the finance department were worried. Can we try to get Zhongting's help? I've tried, but the people from Zhongting won't see me at all. Logically speaking, the relationship between 8th young master and Huang Yao has eased, so there's no need for this. However, when I went to Zhongting, the door was indeed shut in my face. The people from Zhongting also told me that Zhongting won't interfere in any of Huang Yao's matters. Otherwise, do you think I'd be willing to sell it? Of course, this matter still needs to be discussed with the board of directors. But I saw 8th brother at home yesterday. He said that if there were any difficulties I could look for him at any time. Vice President Yang, when did you go to Zhongting's people? Rin Yufei sat at the side and asked the vice president. This, of course. I'll call 8th brother to find out if you've been to Zhongting. Secretary Rin, I'm afraid you can't care about Huang Yao's matters now, right? You're just CEO Xing's girlfriend. Moreover, he's already left everything to me to handle, Vice President Yang said to Rin Yufei. Vice President Yang said to Rin Yufei, I'm an old hero of Huang Yao. Do you want me to harm Huang Yao? That's right. Secretary Rin, it doesn't seem appropriate for you to care about Huang Yao's matters now. After all, you haven't married him yet. The people from the other departments also expressed their opinions. You said it's inappropriate. Bowen and I have already registered our marriage and are protected by the law. What's wrong with that? Rin Yufei asked the other party. Even so, you're just a secretary. What do you know about business? Chapter 792. I don't know how to run a business, but I know that in order to maintain the stability of Huang Yao, there's no need to terminate the Asian plan, sell the land, or even pay a deposit. As long as 8th young master can help. The problem is that he's unwilling to help, the vice president emphasized to everyone. Rin Yufei didn't want to talk to him anymore. She just took out her phone and called Xianxia in public. Hello, Xianxia Zhongting. 8th brother, Huang Yao has encountered a little difficulty. Can you help us solve it? Last night Rin Yufei had already asked, but now she was asking again. She wanted everyone to know what kind of person the vice president was. Capital Technology Management. You name it. Everyone heard Xing Zhao's answer and looked at Vice President Yang in confusion. Can you explain what's going on? I was personally promoted by the president. I'm grateful for the president's trust. Of course, I want the best for Huang Yao. But dare I ask, can you still believe that he treated Huang Yao sincerely when he said that he didn't want Huang Yao anymore and left the mess behind? Yes, I lied to you. I didn't go to Zhongting's people because I have a lot of doubts about Xing Xiao. Who can guarantee that he will manage Huang Yao well? In the future, when he falls out with the Xing family again, will he just ignore it like that? Instead of that, I might as well find my own way from the beginning. That way I can avoid being restrained by others. The deputy CEO's words were very agitated under his anger. Everyone present could feel his love for Huang Yao. In fact, what he said made a lot of sense. It was better to solve it on his own than to beg others. The main reason was that Xing Xiao had treated Huang Yao like a toy. He played with it a few times when he was happy and threw it out when he was unhappy. Such a person in charge was really unconvincing. Then let the board of directors make a decision on this matter, Vice President. As for Secretary Rin, in the future, you'll only be responsible for doing what a secretary should do. Don't interrupt or interfere with anything else, okay? The director of the Ministry of Finance said to Rin Yufei politely. Rin Yufei knew that she was just a secretary. What she said was not enough to convince this group of people. That was why she did not say anything else, and simply told Xing Xiao about it over the phone after the meeting. It's useless no matter how much you do now. Don't provoke the vice president. Just let him do it. Xing Xiao was also considering Rin Yufei's safety. But he really wants to stop the development plan in Asia and sell Huang Yao's assets. Let him break it and let him sell it. Xing Xiao said nonchalantly. I'll deal with it in time. You just need to protect yourself. I understand. Not only did Rin Yufei understand Xing Zhao's plan, but she also understood his reminder because he had already arranged everything. There was no need for Rin Yufei to risk her safety for these people. A mere vice president wanted to mess with Huang Yao. He should take a good look at himself first. That afternoon, Huang Yao held a board meeting. At the board meeting, Vice President Yang proposed to solve Huang Yao's problems, which was to stop Huang Yao's most outrageous plan and sell the least profitable pieces of land. Not only that, But Vice President Yang also sowed discord between the board of directors and Xianxia at the meeting. He received almost unanimous support from the board of directors. Not only did the board of directors support his actions, but they also agreed to persuade Old Master Sheng. That was because important resolutions required the chairman's personal signature in addition to the approval of the shareholders. However, just as Xin Yu had said, if Shen Kai wanted to devour everything, he would have to carry out the plan step by step. This time Huang Yao had prepared a deposit, but once the time passed, the amount of the deposit would change again, and they would have to sell other assets. This was how a trap was formed. In the evening, Old Master Xing received a call from a shareholder and told him about the current situation of Huang Yao. After hearing this, the old man's condition worsened and he fainted at home. The Xing family sent the old man to the hospital, and it took him several hours before he woke up. The first thing he did when he opened his eyes was to see Xingxiao. Ren Yufei had no choice but to quickly call Xingxiao. Eighth brother, Grandpa's condition has worsened again. He's in the hospital now. If the outside world finds out about this, it will be even more disadvantageous for Huang Yao. Xingxiao rushed to the hospital with Mu Qiqi. Seeing that the old man was weak, Mu Qiqi asked Ren Yufei about the reason for his serious illness. He was much better yesterday. Why did it get worse today? I just looked at Grandpa's phone. He seems to have received a call from a shareholder on the board of directors. He probably found out about Huang Yao's situation and couldn't take it anymore. Ren Yufei handed the phone to Xingxiao. Grandpa's serious illness can't continue. Xingxiao took the phone and said, "Don't let him receive any messages about Huang Yao in the future." After saying that, Xingxiao dialed the shareholder's number. "Old Xing? What happened just now? Are you feeling unwell? Oh, I'm really sorry. I really didn't mean to anger you. It wasn't on purpose. Chairman Gao is also angry," Xingxiao said coldly. "Then if you want to discuss something with Grandpa, look for me." Xingxiao. "That's right. I'm Xingxiao," the man on the other end of the phone answered calmly. I'm fine. Third young master has been arrested. Huang Yao needs someone in charge, right? So I'm here to ask the old man." Ever since the old man had a major surgery, his health has not been as good as before. "Something really happens to him, can you take responsibility, Chairman Gao? If you can take responsibility, I'll give him the phone." No. The so-called Chairman Gao immediately admitted defeat. "I hope that Chairman Gao knows what he's doing. There won't be a next time." The other party, Chairman Gao, quickly hung up. Why was Xingxiao still so scary after so long? Xingxiao put away his phone and the old man woke up. When he saw the people in the ward, he blinked and held Mu Qiqi's hand. He said to everyone, "Eighth brother and the others stay. You guys can go back." Sixth brother and the others knew that it was useless to stay here, so they nodded. "Then Grandpa, have a good rest." The old man felt very weak and his breathing was rapid. After a while he said to Xingxiao, "Eighth brother, do you still remember the yellow bag I gave you?" "Of course. Take over Huang Yao and merge it with Zhongting. You can manage it however you want. Just don't let it fall into the hands of evil people." The old man was obviously struggling to speak. Chapter 793. I'm afraid that when I die, I won't have the face to face the ancestors of the Xing family. Only when eighth brother takes over can I truly be at ease. After Xingxiao heard this, he glanced at the old man and promised seriously, "I can take over and clean up Huang Yao. When third brother comes out, I'll return it to him intact." Wouldn't it be great if I could resolve my grudge with Xing Kai? The old man was daydreaming. Don't force it so much. Xingxiao couldn't help but pour cold water on him. Not everything can go as you wish. If your health permits, arrange for a board meeting tomorrow. If the matter isn't resolved at once, you won't be able to recuperate in peace. The old man sighed. He knew that he was forcing him. "Yufei, call and inform them," the old man said to Ren Yufei. Grandpa Xing said to Ren Yufei, "It's just that. Eighth brother. If one day Xing Kai falls into your hands, will you let him go?" Ren Yufei asked. "Tell Xing Kai this. See if he's willing to let Xiao go." Mu Qiqi immediately asked the old man. Old man Xing knew that it was impossible, so he didn't say anything and looked at Mu Qiqi eagerly. "If you really want to wait until your little great-grandson is born, you don't have to worry about the Xing family's matters after this board meeting. You've endured the major surgery but you can't endure the human heart? The old man pouted. Even he didn't realize that his behavior was becoming more and more like a child. Rest well. We'll be here with you. Old man Xing saw that Mu Qiqi had secretly yawned a few times. He must be very tired. However, she didn't show any impatience at all. She was already patient enough with this old man. Therefore, old man Xing didn't whine anymore and obediently lay down to rest. However, he couldn't bear to let go of Mu Qiqi's hand even when he was asleep. Xianxia saw this and snorted coldly. Mu Qiqi quickly comforted him. Why are you so jealous? You'd better think about how to take back Huangyao tomorrow. This way I'll be at ease. I'll get Su Che to send you back to rest. I'll stay here. Xianxia pulled her hand out of the old man's and helped her up. He wanted to push her away. But Mu Qiqi just sat down against him. I'll just lean on your shoulder and sleep for a while. Grandpa is asleep. You guys can go back. I'll stay here tonight. Rin Yufei saw that the two of them looked tired and urged them to go home. After a while, Xianxia got up with Mu Qiqi in his arms and instructed Rin Yufei, pay attention to the old man's health tomorrow. I'll take care of the rest. I'll leave everything to you, eighth brother. Xianxia said nothing and left the hospital with Mu Qiqi in his arms. This thing was sleeping soundly in his arms. The next day, everyone in Huangyao received the news that the chairman would personally host the shareholders' meeting. It must be to stabilize the recent turbulent situation. Yesterday there were rumors that the old master was unwell and was in the hospital again. No one expected that the board meeting would be held today. Vice President Yang knew very well that the old man would intervene in this matter sooner or later. With his strength alone, even if he could shake Huangyao for a while, he would not be able to shake its foundation. After all, although Xianxia had established his own company, he was Huangyao's solid backer. Therefore, Vice President Yang hid in his office early in the morning and spoke to Xing Kai on the phone. Today, the chairman will personally hold a board meeting. The plan can't go on. I told Mr. Shen that I alone can't overthrow the entire Xing family, but you guys didn't believe me. Now that I've been exposed, I can't even protect myself. Why are you panicking? On the other end of the phone, Xin Yu and Xing Kai were together. He said calmly, since he's going to hold a board meeting personally, let's give him a gift. He's already so old, why would he still want to hold a board meeting? What gift? He's already going into the coffin. Don't you think it's a hindrance to meddle in the affairs of young people? Xin Yu held the cat in his arms and kept scratching the kitten's chin. Let's see if this old thing is so lucky every time. I'll prepare the thing later. When the time comes, you just need to give it to him. You want to kill someone. Xing Kai understood what he meant and reached out to grab his shirt. Why? You're following teacher, so why do you care about that little bit of human life? Besides, I know you hate that old thing. Don't you want him to die? Xin Yu snorted coldly. Don't deceive yourself. You can't wait for the Xing family to be wiped out. Xing Kai did not say anything. He only felt complicated and uncomfortable. He knew that Xin Yu wanted to do something bad to his grandfather, but he was hesitating whether he should stop him or not. What did this mean? This meant that Xin Yu knew him very well and knew what he wanted in his heart. Save him, or not save him? Think about it carefully. If you save him, you still won't get the Xing family and you won't get his love. I don't need you to tell me, Xing Kai said angrily. Do you know what your biggest problem is? You're not capable and you're always soft-hearted. It doesn't matter. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon anyway. You still have a lot of time to think about it. Xin Yu put down the cat in his arms and returned to his room with a mocking expression. If it weren't for the fact that this piece of trash still had some value, he wouldn't have bothered to help him come up with a plan. He was so stupid that there was no cure. Xing Kai sat down on the sofa. From start to finish, he was a puppet that was being controlled. He didn't know what step he wanted to take, but it involved human lives. If it came to light in the future, would he still be able to stay out of it? Xin Yu prepared a small gift for old Master Xing. It was a photo of Xing Bowen being humiliated in prison. Would the old man be able to sit still after seeing these bloody things? He didn't believe it. In the afternoon, after Rin Yufei helped the old man wash up in the hospital, she helped him into a wheelchair. However, before they set off, Rin Yufei squatted on the ground and asked, "Grandpa, can you hold on? If you still don't feel well, we'll go another day." Old Master Xing sat in his wheelchair and felt more energetic than yesterday. He said to Ren Yufei, I'm fine. We can set off. Then we'll go to Huangyao. When the time comes, no matter what those directors say at the board meeting, I hope Grandpa won't be angry. Your health is important and it's not worth getting angry for those people. I know what I'm doing. After saying that, Old Master Xing waved his hand and signaled for Ren Yufei to leave quickly. Perhaps this was the last time in his life that he would preside over the board meeting of Huangyao. From now on, regardless of success or failure, he would hand over the power of Huangyao. After getting into the car, Old Master Xing took out his phone and called his lawyer. I want to change my will. Prepare it. Chapter 794. Yufei, I know you're a good child and I know that third brother is wholeheartedly working for the Xing family. However, I still have to hand the most important part to eighth brother for safekeeping. With him around, you can be safe and sound. Grandpa, I can understand you, Ren Yufei said. The old man had been working hard for the Xing family all his life. The first half of his life was for Huangyao, and the remaining time he had wanted to protect his children and grandchildren. When we arrive at Huangyao, if you want the vice president to come to Bowen's office to see me, the old man touched the walking stick beside him. Grandpa Xing touched the walking stick beside him and said, I want to see what Huangyao did to him first. However, Xianxia had instructed her not to let the old man come into contact with anyone in Huangyao after she went there. Therefore, Ren Yufei did not agree to the old man's request. Grandpa, let me see him. I should also greet these people as the young madam of the Xing family. You don't have to see those filthy things. The old man pondered for a few seconds and nodded. Fine. On Zhongting's side, Xianxia had already asked his secretary to free up the afternoon. As for Su Che, he had already gone to keep an eye on the so-called Vice President Yang. Regardless of whether Xing Bowen was fine or not, did he think that there was no one in the Xing family? He had already bullied them to this extent. After that, Zhongting's legal team and finance team were already on standby. They were only waiting for Xianxia to be ready before they set off together. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Xianxia picked up his coat from the clothes rack and walked out of Zhongting's office. He then informed, the relevant personnel will set off immediately. Since he was going to settle the score, he would settle it properly. However, when Xianxia went downstairs, he saw a little thing sitting in the back of the car. Xianxia put on his coat, opened the car door with the help of his secretary and sat in. No class. You want to join in the fun? You know that I only have one last class in the afternoon. How can I miss out on such a lively place? Mu Qiqi leaned on Xingzhao's shoulder and said, besides, I can barely count the old man's matters as my duty. When he has a meeting later, I'll accompany him. Think about it, how can third sister-in-law deal with those shareholders who have evil intentions? You'd better not interrupt. I'll be responsible for soothing the old man's mood and making him feel better. Is that okay? Mu Qiqi raised her head and winked at him. In fact, Xianxia knew that Mu Qiqi was afraid that the old man would be bullied inside and die of anger. Xianxia did not say anything else. He just pinched the little one's face. My life is in your hands. Leave it to me. It won't go wrong. Mu Qiqi smiled comfortably. I'll sleep for a while. Wake me up when we arrive. Xianxia simply told her to lie down on his lap. This thing had not rested well for the past few days. She had racked her brains for the old man's matter. It could be said that it had been hard on her. Soon, Grandpa Xing's car arrived at Huangyao. With the help of the doctor, Ren Yufei pushed Old Master Xing into Huangyao. At this time, Vice President Yang was also waiting at the door to welcome Old Master Xing. Chairman, you're here. Old Master Xing did not give him any face at all and pretended to ignore him. Vice President Yang also knew the reason, so he could only follow behind and flatter him. Chairman, I've already arranged a room for you to rest. I'll go to third brother's office now, Old Master Xing said to Ren Yufei. Chairman, I'll go prepare the information for this meeting and send it to you. No need, leave it to me. After Grandpa goes in to rest, no one is allowed to disturb him, Ren Yufei said directly to Vice President Yang. Vice President Yang looked up at Ren Yufei. He did not expect that he, a dignified vice president, would actually be the secretary's assistant. He was very indignant, but for the sake of the old man, he did not flare up. How can I do that? Yufei said to give it to her, so give it to her. Don't you know her identity? The old man immediately made things difficult for Vice President Yang. Yes, everything is as you said, Chairman. After saying that, Vice President Yang stopped outside the elevator and did not continue to follow. Because she had already said that she would go directly to Xing Bowen's office. Why would she need him to serve her? However, this way he would not be able to follow Xin Yu's request and give the old man a gift. What should he do? Forget it. He would get the directors to help out later and provoke the old man. He would probably be able to go to the hospital for a good treatment. However, he did not know that the Xing family had a secret weapon like Mu Qiqi. Moreover, when Mu Qiqi entered Huang Yao, she did not alert anyone. Instead, she took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to her and directly got into the CEO's exclusive elevator and entered Xing Bowen's office. When the old man saw Mu Qiqi, his eyes immediately lit up. "You little girl, why are you here? If I didn't come, would I have just watched you get bullied? Those shareholders of Huang Yao are all not easy to deal with. I can't do anything else, but I'm good at quarreling." Mu Qiqi sat on the sofa. "I sneaked in just to give those people a surprise. So hot. I'll get you a glass of water." Ren Yufei suddenly smiled. Previously, she was worried that she would not be able to handle it. Now that Mu Qiqi was here, she was relieved. "Third sister-in-law, go and do your work. Leave this to me." Mu Qiqi winked at her. "Okay, with you accompanying Grandpa, I'm relieved." Ren Yufei prepared tea for her and opened the door to walk out of the office. Mu Qiqi leaned against the old man and patted his hand. "How about I get your doctor to prepare some food for you? Just treat it as if you're watching a show. Relax. You're the one who wants to eat, right? I'll get the doctor to prepare it." Mu Qiqi did not object. It was exactly what she wanted. "Eighth brother is already here?" "He's at the coffee shop across the street." Mu Qiqi pointed at the building opposite with her chin and said, "Don't worry. As long as one person rebels against Huang Yao today, Xiao will get rid of them for you." The old man laughed. Suddenly, he felt that the heaviness when he went out was completely relaxed because of this girl. On the other side, Vice President Yang did not go to Ren Yufei. How could he discuss it with a secretary? Even if Ren Yufei was the madam of the Xing family, he would not go so far as to be afraid of a woman who did not have any real power. He only asked someone to prepare some tea and planned to try sending it to the old man. However, no one knew that Mu Qiqi was accompanying the old man. They thought that Ren Yufei was busy outside and the old man was alone in the office. A moment later, someone knocked on the door. "Chairman, I'm here to bring you some tea. Come in." Old Master Xing sat in his wheelchair reading the newspaper as he answered. Mu Qiqi had gone to the bathroom. The young employee trembled as she entered the office with a tray. Seeing that the old man was alone, she put down the tea and said to him, "Chairman, is there anything else?" Chapter 795. Actually, I heard something, but I don't know if I should say it. The person took out her phone and was about to hand it to Grandpa Xing. However, Mu Qiqi noticed it when her hand was in the air. "Since it's not appropriate, then don't say it," Mu Qiqi said calmly. The person did not know that Mu Qiqi was also in the office. She was so scared that she dropped her phone. Mu Qiqi bent down to pick it up for her. Then she saw the bloody photo. "Where did you get this?" "I received it at noon. I don't know if it's real, so I came to the chairman. I'm afraid that something will happen to the president," the person explained. Mu Qiqi flipped through the photo and smiled. "Is that so? You're afraid that something will happen to the president, so you came to report it to the chairman?" "Yes." "Who do you think you are? Why did someone send it to you?" Mu Qiqi sat on the sofa and questioned the person directly. "You're not an important person and you don't have 3 heads and 6 arms. Why should others believe you?" I don't know. I just received it by chance," the person explained. "I hope you don't misunderstand me, Miss Mu. You know very well whether I misunderstood you or not. The old man is sick. What do you want to do by showing him such a photo?" Mu Qiqi suddenly became serious and her tone was extremely cold. "Grandpa has seen it. If he's fine, then you're lucky. But if he gets sick because of these photoshopped pictures, can you afford to take the responsibility?" The person was so scared that she was sweating profusely. "I'm sorry. I really didn't know the seriousness of the matter." Who ordered you to do this?" Mu Qiqi went straight to the point. "If you answer me, I'll pretend that nothing happened when you walk out of this door." "It's Vice President Yang. Vice President Yang asked me to show it to the chairman." "Go out." Just tell your Vice President Yang that after the old man saw it he was very sad. Also don't tell anyone that I'm here. Mu Chichi threatened the other party. Yes, I understand. I'll do as you say. Don't worry, Miss Mu. You're so bad at photoshopping. How dare you embarrass yourself with it? Mu Chichi rolled her eyes and returned the phone to the person. Go out. Yes, I will go out now. How could they know that Mu Chichi was so powerful? With just a few words she managed to trick Vice President Yang out. Even the old man did not expect her to be so clever. What is in the photo? Grandpa Xing asked softly after they left. What photos? Those are just photoshopped pictures. They know that you care about third brother, so they deliberately use these things to provoke you and disturb your mind. They even... Mu Chichi paused and used a more euphemistic way to express it. Kill people. Then how did you know it was photoshopped? After you see it you'll also think it's fake, but you'll still worry because that's human nature. Mu Chichi comforted him. Don't worry. Third brother is fine inside. No one can do anything to him. I believe in you and eighth brother. This Vice President Yang was truly vicious. She knew that the old man's body was weak, but she actually thought of using this method to deal with him. If she hadn't come, the old man would have been provoked. The consequences would have been unimaginable. Don't worry, old man. We'll teach this Vice President Yang a lesson for you later. Vice President Yang did not know that the old man had Mu Chichi's protection, so he really believed his subordinate's words and thought that the old man had really been provoked. Even if he was fine now, when the board of directors convened later, the shareholders would say a few more provocative words. He did not believe that the old man would not obediently enter the hospital. Then Vice President Yang told Xinyu about this over the phone. After hearing this, Xinyu looked at Xianxia with a cold smile. Have you thought it through? It's already 1:30 now. Your grandfather is probably on the verge of death. Xianxia did not say anything. He just clenched his hands tightly. It's okay. You can call him now and tell him that you should see if the secretarial office of Huang Yao will treat you as a lunatic. After Xinyu said that, he laughed out loud. How pitiful. You can't control your own fate. But now you're the one who decides the fate of others. You're so hesitant and indecisive. How pitiful. This is all your plan. It has nothing to do with me. I'm afraid you're an idiot. Xianxia, you're an insider. You're equivalent to an accomplice. Xinyu laughed maniacally, stimulating every nerve in Xianxia. He knew very well that if something really happened to the old man today, there would only be a blood feud between him and the Xing family. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The directors of Huang Yao entered the meeting room together. They were all thinking that everyone should consider how to elect a new person to be the chairman. Such a terrible old man would only be hospitalized and unable to solve anything. Therefore these people had ill intentions from the beginning. In any case, Huang Yao was in a state of disunity. As the saying goes, there can be no construction without destruction. Now was the time to establish new rules. Soon Vice President Yang also entered the meeting room and exchanged glances with a few directors who were closer to him. Today only Rin Yufei was by the old man's side. Everyone could relax and not be so restrained. Why isn't the chairman here yet? A director looked at his watch and found that a minute had passed, but old Master Xing had yet to appear. He was probably still recovering from the shock. Vice President Yang thought in his heart. I've seen the news. It says that the chairman is not feeling well. Since he's not feeling well, he shouldn't force himself to attend the board meeting. Isn't there a vice president around? Vice President Yang enjoyed every word that the directors said. However, in the next second the door to the meeting room was pulled open. The person who pushed the old man in was not Rin Yufei but Mu Chichi. Everyone looked at each other and said to the old man, "Chairman, this is the board meeting. Logically speaking, Miss Mu should be waiting outside." The old man was about to speak, but Mu Chichi pressed the back of his hand and looked at her. The doctor suggested that it's best for Grandpa to be accompanied by relatives. Moreover, Grandpa isn't feeling well and it's not convenient for him to speak, so I'll do it for him. Grandpa, don't you think so? The old man nodded. Don't worry, the lawyer will take care of it. You won't mind such a small matter, right? If they minded, who would bear the responsibility if something happened to the old man? This lass was still as formidable as ever. Chapter 796. Mu Qiqi looked around and took in everyone's expressions. When she pushed the old man to the main seat, she said, "Logically speaking, Vice President Yang is only temporarily replacing third brother's position, but he doesn't have the right to attend the board meeting. Why is he still here?" Everyone was stunned. They did not expect that the first person to make things difficult would be none other than Mu Qiqi. "Since I'm temporarily acting as the CEO, I'm the temporary decision-maker of the company," Vice President Yang explained. Mu Qiqi sneered and did not look for trouble with him anymore. However, it also made Vice President Yang extremely uncomfortable. He had given him a show of strength at the beginning. However, the real pain was yet to come. There was no need to worry now. "Since everyone is here, let's begin." Mu Qiqi took out tea and pastries from her bag. It looked like she was serving the old man, but in fact she was clearly telling the others that she was here to watch the show. The old man looked at the shareholders and then slowly said, "Recently Huang Yao has been in troubled times. First, third brother was arrested and then Huang Yao has been hit hard. I know that all the directors are worried about Huang Yao's business situation, so I'm here today to preside over the overall situation. I'll put third brother's matter aside for now. Let me make my first suggestion. Remove Vice President Yang from his position and ask him to leave Huang Yao. You guys make your stand." After hearing the old man's words, Vice President Yang was stunned. He said directly, "Chairman, this is not fair. I've done my best for Huang Yao. Why do you want to fire me? Even if I don't have any credit, I've worked hard, right? Moreover, the CEO has been arrested and I've been acting as his temporary replacement. I've done my best. How have I dissatisfied you?" The old man coughed lightly and did not say anything. Mu Qiqi quickly spoke on his behalf. "First of all, please follow the company's rules. Vice President Zhang has no right to speak or vote on the board of directors. Secondly, why do you have to be fired? There are 3 reasons. First, the CEO was arrested and the heavy burden was handed over to you. Not only did you not fulfill your obligations, but you also bewitched the shareholders, hindered Huang Yao's development and sold Huang Yao's assets. Is this your so-called ability? What a glib tongue, Miss Mu. Then tell me, who should I trust in this situation? Who should I look for? Tongting? He was the one who abandoned Huang Yao first. Not even 5 Huang Yao can compare to Zhongting's current scale of development. You haven't gone to Zhongting and you haven't come up with a reasonable plan. How do you know that Xianxia doesn't care? Taking 10,000 steps back, even if Xianxia treats Huang Yao as a child's play, how can it compare to Huang Yao's current crisis? Have you talked to Huang Yao's partners? Has the PR department done anything to salvage the situation? How did Huang Yao get to the point where it has to sell its assets? Not only do you have a problem with your ability, but you're also incompetent." Mu Qiqi was domineering and did not give him any room to refute. She directly pointed at Vice President Yang and scolded him fiercely. Her words were so fast that he could not resist at all. Secondly, third brother raised you up. How could you not know if you want to sell a few pieces of land? Is it a loss or a profit? What is your motive? Those pieces of land are restricted by the planning. This is something that everyone knows. Planning restrictions? Mu Qiqi smiled again. Have you already found a buyer and are planning to sell it to Changrong Xinkai next door? Nonsense. Vice President Yang was so angry that his face turned red. You don't have to be angry with me here. Huang Yao has indeed taken those pieces of land for some years and hasn't developed them for a long time. However, don't tell me you don't know that Jianchuan International Airport is about to be built nearby? I really don't know, Vice President Yang answered guiltily. Are you telling me these words to prove that there's indeed a problem with your ability? Mu Qiqi asked him with a chuckle. Vice President Yang stopped talking. It should be said that he was speechless. Thirdly, you instigated others to hurt grandfather and colluded with the shareholders to create trouble. You don't have the ability or the character. Why should Huang Yao keep you? Tell me, what face do you have to stay? Mu Qiqi's words were sonorous, making Vice President Yang unable to resist at all. Looking at the expressions of some of the shareholders, they were also unusually ugly. My girl has already made it very clear why I want to fire him. What other objections do you have? The old man was indeed feeling comfortable, especially when he saw Mu Qiqi rebuking Vice President Yang. He felt refreshed. Raise your hands to vote and then sign. Dismiss me? I think it's the chairman who should be dismissed. Vice President Yang was forced into a corner. He could only shout at the old man, "Isn't it all thanks to him that Huang Yao has become like this? Directors, think about it. There's no one in the Xing family who can lead Huang Yao, and the chairman is still holding on. You should choose a new chairman. Otherwise, when the president comes out, do you really want a person who has been in prison to be the manager of the company? Is Xing Kai at his wit's end? You're so ugly." Mu Qiqi looked at Vice President Yang with a cold glint in her eyes. "Actually, I think what Vice President Yang said makes sense. Even if we fire Vice President Yang today, who will lead Huang Yao in the future? You have to give us an explanation, right?" A director stood up and spoke up for Vice President Yang. "After you vote and get rid of the people who should be cleaned up, I will give you an explanation," the old man said calmly. "Since he's useless, we won't keep him any longer. I agree to remove Vice President Yang from his position." "Me too." The shareholders began to express their opinions, and more than half of the votes were in favor. When Vice President Yang saw this, other than being filled with anger, he also looked at Mu Qiqi with hatred. It's all because of you, Mu Qiqi, who allowed you to appear here. Do you know that you might have killed my mother?" When everyone heard this, they were immediately puzzled and looked at Vice President Yang. "My mother was captured by Xing Kai's men. Do you know that if my plan doesn't succeed, he will hurt my mother? Your mother is human. Does my grandfather deserve to be hurt and schemed against by you?" Mu Qiqi asked him in return. "You should look for the police, not the Xing family. But I'm involved in the grudge of your Xing family." Chapter 797. I'll go Dao. Ren Yufei nodded. "If you do this and force my mother to death, I'll die with you." Vice President Yang looked at Mu Qiqi resentfully. "For you, Xing Kai isn't that stupid." After listening to Mu Qiqi, Vice President Yang stood up from his seat and said directly, "There's no need for you to vote. I'll resign on my own." With that, he left the conference room and called his mother as he walked. On Xing Kai's side, after receiving the call, he also sneered and looked at Xin Yu. "Let her go. Lawyer Shin's plan didn't work either, did it?" "I won't let her go," Xin Yu said evilly. "What can you do to me? Changrong has just experienced by Sini's case. The police haven't let down their guard yet. Now you want to get involved in another murder case because of a small matter. What do you think Godfather will think of you?" Xing Kai also learned from Xin Yu and became evilly charming. "Originally, you only needed to make a statement to clarify things. If you insist on making a corpse, I won't stop you. It's just that you've increased your chances of being exposed." "I don't care." Xin Yu's face flushed red. It was obvious that he had not expected Xing Kai to anger him. That's right, Xing Kai had actually angered him. "Let her go. I'll whitewash this matter. It has nothing to do with you. It's just a pity. Do you think your little tricks can shake Huang Yao? It's not over yet." Xin Yu looked at Xing Kai fiercely and replied. Not long after, someone found a middle-aged woman lying unconscious on the ground in a secluded place in Jianchuan. A passerby sent her to the hospital and called her family according to the number in the old woman's phone. Vice President Yang received the call and was relieved after confirming that his mother was fine. He would never get involved in the Xing family's mess again. He could not afford to play with such deep schemes. After Vice President Yang left, only the shareholders and the old man were left in the conference room. "Since the door has been cleaned up, let's talk about what explanation you have for us." The directors looked at the old man. The current situation of the Xing family was very clear. Other than Xing Xiao, no one could come out to take charge of the overall situation. "I think the position of the president needs to be chosen from among the capable people. Of course, with the Xing family's current situation, it won't be limited to the Xing family. Chairman, it's time for you to express your stance." Everyone looked at Grandpa Xing, waiting for him to come up with a solution. Huang Yao's bad reputation was all thanks to the Xing family. "I'm old. I can't stay in the position of chairman anymore. But there are still a few people who have second thoughts about Huang Yao. How can I rest assured?" The old man looked at the group of people and said helplessly. "This is all your guess. Do you have any evidence?" Xing. Today I am still here. I am the chairman. I will give these people a chance. As long as you stand up and admit that you colluded with Vice President Yang, I will let bygones be bygones." Xing asked. Xing. All the shareholders present were good actors. If you're really not feeling well and are delirious, we can send you back to the hospital. Xing. I was. It Xiao, the old man sighed. I've said it before. This is the first time I've ever held a meeting as the chairman. Since you refuse to stand up and admit it, I'll take it that you guys are planning to fight Huang Yao to the end. The people looked at each other and smiled. It was as if the old man was joking. But in the next second, the old man announced a shocking news. I've hired a lawyer to transfer all my shares to Xianxia and let him take over as the chairman of Huang Yao. I don't think you have any objections, right? Everyone was stunned when they heard that. Everyone knew Xianxia's ability. In fact, some of the directors only wanted to make money. So, as long as the Sheng family could produce a capable person to continue leading the company, they would not have any objections. However, Xianxia had abandoned Huang Yao. We naturally recognize Xianxia's ability. But Chairman, don't forget that he was the one who abandoned Huang Yao and caught everyone off guard. Besides, he already has Zhongting now. How could he care about our development? Director Jing, your point of view is so strange. No matter what Xianxia did to Huang Yao in the past, he has Zhongting to rely on now. Whether it's funds, talents, or other aspects, he can give Huang Yao the greatest support. Not only will it increase the confidence of the outside world, but it will also have the ability to develop Huang Yao. Why are you so against it? This time it was the old man's turn to question him sharply. I'm just stating the facts. The purpose of shareholders is to make money. What I'm doing now can guarantee the interests of shareholders to the greatest extent. What are you dissatisfied with? Perhaps, Director Jing, you think that Huang Yao will no longer be profitable if it returns to my hands? Xing Zhao's voice suddenly came from the door of the meeting room. No one knew when the door of the meeting room had been opened and how much Xianxia had heard. Everyone had mixed feelings when they saw Xianxia enter. Some were unconvinced while others felt that it was only right. I can promise that after taking the position of chairman of Huang Yao, I will take developing Huang Yao as my duty, give Huang Yao the best resources and never abandon Huang Yao. With this guarantee, do you still have any objections? Xianxia did not walk to the old man's side. Instead, he sat down on an extra chair at the side. No one said anything. After all, just imagining the scene of Zhongting made them excited. I have no objections. I don't agree. Before Xianxia comes up with a definite management plan, I won't agree, Director Jing said excitedly. I'm also doing this for everyone's benefit. All right. Xianxia nodded. However, I have to make one thing clear. When the time comes, I will produce evidence and expose some of the shareholders who colluded with outsiders with ill intentions. Do you really think that there's no one in the Xing family? Today I'll also tell you the truth. Even if all of you object to me taking back Huang Yao, I don't care. With Zhongting's current strength, it's easy for me to crush 10 Huang Yao. It's just that when the time comes, it won't look good for everyone. The difference is whether you want to speak properly or not. So the key to the problem is not you but me. After hearing Xing Zhao's words, all the shareholders felt his arrogance and dominance. However, they did not have the confidence to refute him because this was Xianxia. Chapter 798. Xianxia, you're still so arrogant. We're still the directors of Huang Yao. Can you show us some respect? Director Jing slammed the table and stood up. Since the company has set up a board of directors, it has to be voted on. Aren't you looking down on us too much if you decide everything by yourself? I've always been like this. Whether you're convinced or not, there are a lot of people waiting for your position. Director Jing tried his best to stir up trouble, but he did not get any advantage from Xianxia. I think you should welcome me as the chairman. After all, with Zhongting as your backer, you can imagine Huang Yao's future development. Other than Director Jing, the others could not hide their excitement. If you still want Huang Yao to go to the next level, then you should cut off your connection with Xing Kai as soon as possible. As Director Jing said, as long as you can come up with a plan, I won't have any questions about how you want to manage Huang Yao. Me too. The directors expressed their stance. They just wanted to see to what extent Xianxia could strengthen Huang Yao. They wanted a blueprint. I'll give you an explanation the day after tomorrow morning. Of course, don't forget what I said. After Xianxia said that, he stood up from his seat. I want you to take all the advantages. There's no such thing. Push the old man home. Mu Chichi stood up. She did not have time to eat melon seeds and drink tea. However, seeing that the old man's expression was not good, she immediately pushed the old man's wheelchair and followed behind Xianxia. The old man looked at his grandson, raised his head and asked him, "Do you really have evidence of the directors colluding with Xingkai? We've agreed that this is the last meeting. I can only promise you that as long as Zhongting is there, Huang Yao will be there," Xianxia replied calmly. "However, your old employees probably can't be used anymore. I'm going to replace them. Let's change them." The old man agreed. Those old employees relied on their seniority and did not take Huang Yao's system seriously at all. In addition, Xing Bowen had always been tolerant, so they did not know how many of these people were related to Xingkai. Only by replacing them all could Xingkai be completely uprooted from Huang Yao. In addition, with the merger with Zhongting and the change in the company's system, it would not be so easy for Xingkai to touch Huang Yao in the future. Xingkai is too familiar with the internal structure of Huang Yao, so I'm going to move the entire Huang Yao. You're the chairman now. You make the decision. After saying this, Grandpa Xing heaved a sigh of relief. "Eighth brother, I don't want anything. I just want third brother to come out safely. When he gets home, I won't interfere with whatever he wants to do anymore." Mu Chichi felt a little sad when she heard this. Although the old man had realized it too late, he had at least turned the corner. "Yao Xiao said. "Xiao, Mu Chichi, Xiao. Old Master Xing nodded repeatedly. "Of course. I still want to live a few more years and quarrel with you more. Then I'll send you back to the hospital." The old man was very cooperative and obedient. After returning to the hospital, he obediently took his medicine and rested. "Xiao. I. Yao, I. Then I Kai Xiao, Haven't you seen enough?" "Of course, I haven't seen enough of your dominance in business." Mu Chichi did not hide her admiration for Xianxia. "That's why I'm crazy about you. Do you still want to go to class?" Xianxia tilted his head. His voice was a little hoarse with a hint of desire. "You're too weak." Mu Chichi suddenly realized what kind of fire she had ignited. Idiot. In the end, the man was still worried about the day and how important the class was to Mu Chichi. So he sent her straight to school. When she got out of the car, Mu Chichi could not help but laugh. "Shall we go on a date tonight, Chief Xing? I'll pick you up later." Soon the outside world got the news that Xianxia would take over Huang Yao. He would reorganize Huang Yao and merge it with Zhongting. Our reporters have received accurate news that Zhongting's CEO, Xianxia, will take over as the chairman of Huang Yao and reorganize it. This means that Huang Yao's turbulent situation is about to end. As for what arrangements the former CEO Xing Bowen will receive, the people of Huang Yao have yet to give a definite answer. After watching the news, Xingkai immediately turned off the television. Xianxia is swift and decisive. Once Huang Yao is merged into Zhongting, I won't have a chance to interfere anymore. Teacher has always said that he's difficult to deal with, but I didn't believe him. Now I feel that this person is a little interesting. Xin Yu lay on the sofa with an unknown celebrity in his arms. Of course, Xingkai was already used to such a scene, so he said, "Godfather wasn't the only one who said that. I said the same thing too. So Xianxia might know about the methods you used to frame Xing Bowen." "Is that so? But he's still asking me to defend Xing Bowen. Xianxia will never settle scores with you face to face. He always likes to reach out from behind." "Then let's wait and see." Xin Yu became serious for a moment and let go of the woman in his arms. "I'm going to continue working on bail for Xing Bowen. I'll be leaving first." Xing Kai sneered. Although his hatred for the Xing family did not decrease at all, he was happy to see someone take Xin Yu down a notch. However, after Xing Kai's reminder, Xin Yu could not help but wonder if Xianxia knew that he had ulterior motives. However, he did not reveal any flaws except for the Li family's car accident. Thinking of this, Xin Yu realized that he was actually breaking out in a cold sweat because of Xianxia. If Xianxia saw this case and knew about his relationship with Baisini's case, but his expression did not change and he still used him as his brother's defense lawyer, what was he trying to do? It seemed like he had to give it a try. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Xianxia drove to pick up Mu Chichi from class and went straight to the hotel next to the Ferris wheel where the two of them used to date. When Mu Qiqi saw the private room inside, she thought of the way this man pressed her against the table and kissed her. She could not help but blush. Hot. Xianxia saw her blush and asked in a low voice. You already know the answer. Mu Qiqi glared at him. In the past, their relationship could not be made public, nor could it be discovered by others. What she liked the most was Xianxia bringing her here. Although it could not be made public, Mu Qiqi felt that at that time she was like a moth flying into a flame. Her heart was beating for him. It looks like you're reminiscing about my kiss here. Then Xianxia booked the entire private room and prohibited the waiter from going upstairs. They were already at the restaurant, but wasn't their goal to eat things? Chapter 799. The spacious dining table was now occupied by Mu Qiqi's body. They had been in the same position several times when they were intimate. Even the angle had not changed. You did it on purpose. Mu Qiqi was pressed on the table and could not resist at all. Don't you remember the kiss I gave you back then? Xianxia unbuttoned his shirt and messed up the hair on his forehead. Remember it well and feel it well. Mu Qiqi wrapped her arms around the man's neck and looked at the Ferris wheel outside the window. She felt so weak that her mind was about to collapse. Didn't you tease me during the day? I didn't tease you. I just admire my man. Can't I? Mu Qiqi snorted softly. Since it's admiration, let's go from the body to the heart. With that, Mu Qiqi's skirt was already lifted to her waist. It seems that I have to consider buying this place. Mu Qiqi could not say a word. She only felt the sense of belonging being taken. It was no different from the feeling in her memory. The man was still the same man and the lover was still the same lover. Only this man could give her this feeling of ecstasy. Deep in love, Mu Qiqi felt the world spinning. There was only one sentence in her chest. She wanted to tell her man, Xiao, I love you. Isn't that what you should do? Xianxia smiled. He picked up the little one and held her in his arms. The two sat on the sofa and panted. Then Xianxia tidied up Mu Qiqi's skirt. But the little one hugged his waist tightly. Is it not enough? Sometimes I wish I could become one with you. We don't have to be apart anywhere. Mu Qiqi was a little tired from the tossing. She leaned against Xianxia's arms and muttered. You didn't become one just now? That's different. That was only temporary. Hearing the word temporary, a certain someone's face instantly darkened. Temporary? I think you don't want to live anymore. With that, Xianxia carried her and walked downstairs. He could not see the night view anymore. He had to go home and teach her a lesson. At the same time, he was also thinking about buying the hotel and setting the second floor as the CEO's exclusive area. No one could enter except them. Not only that, but he also wanted to buy the best bed and install the biggest bathtub. Of course, Mu Qiqi did not notice what was going on in his mind at all. She only felt that her waist was hurting and her legs were wobbly. This man really wanted to eat people when he went crazy. On the other side, Xinyu could not sleep all night because Xianxia might know his background. If he wanted to know if Xianxia was really suspicious of him, there was one more thing he could do. And that was to investigate if Xianxia had contacted other lawyers. If Xianxia really did not trust him, he would definitely contact another lawyer in private to handle Xing Bowen's case. But if Xianxia did not do that, it meant that Xianxia had yet to discover his true identity. Xianxia had already made arrangements for this because he did not look for a new lawyer at all. It was the original lawyer of the Xing family who was preparing a second plan for Xing Bowen because of the little one's reminder. If Xinyu wanted to investigate, then let him. The next morning, Xinyu and Xianxia spoke on the phone. The matter of bail had basically been settled. If everything went smoothly, Xing Bowen could be released from the detention center in the afternoon. Things have been done very well. I'll have to trouble you with the follow-up matters, Lawyer Shin. You spend the money, I'll do the work. Don't worry, Xinyu answered straightforwardly on the phone. I'll inform the Xing family to pick him up. Then we'll contact each other later. Now, when Xinyu was on the phone with Xianxia, he finally knew that he had to be wary. He would no longer speak freely like before because this man might not be able to draw any important conclusions from his words. No, not only did he have to be careful with his words, but he also had to be friends with the Xing family. Only then would he know if Xianxia really trusted him or if he was acting. In the afternoon, Ren Yufei and Xin Yu waited outside the detention center. The bail process went smoothly, but Xing Bowen had been inside for a few days, so he could not help but look tired. When Rin Yufei saw him, her eyes turned red. She quickly went up to him. You're finally out. It's been hard on you. Are you worried? Xing Bowen quickly hugged her and comforted her. Thank you, Lawyer Shen. I hope you can help me win the subsequent lawsuit. Isn't that why President Xing invited me? Xin Yu said with a smile. It was completely different from his unrestrained appearance in front of Xing Kai. Please come to the Xing family for dinner tonight as my thanks to you. Then, I'll do as you say. Xin Yu did not refuse because he also wanted to see what the so-called Xing family looked like. Then I'll go back and freshen up first. I'll send a car to pick you up tonight. Give me an address. Xing Bowen also looked like a little white rabbit, sincerely thanking his benefactor. There's no need. Just tell me where the Xing family is. I'll drive there myself. That's good too. I don't want you to feel restrained. After saying that, Xing Bowen and Rin Yufei got into the Xing family's car. When Xin Yu saw the two of them leave, he felt that the brothers of the Xing family were really interesting. Xing Xiao was so sinister and cunning, but the other brothers were so stupid. Xing Kai was not very capable, but his ambition was not small. This Xing Bowen was even more rare in the world, and his heart was as big as a woman's. He really didn't know if he could take it when the second step of the plan was implemented. On the other side, after Xing Bowen got into the car, his expression relaxed. Rin Yufei handed him a towel and wiped his face. The people inside are quite polite, right? Eighth brother is protecting me, of course, Xing Bowen replied. I've only been in there for a few days. I have a lot of thoughts in my mind. I've made you worry. Something happened to Huang Yao while you were away. It was expected, but eighth brother was there, wasn't he? Xing Bowen didn't need to read the newspaper to know what kind of situation Huang Yao was in. With such a stain on my back, it's not good for me to be the person in charge of Huang Yao anymore. Returning it to eighth brother is the best arrangement. Bowen, it's not your fault. Xing Bowen didn't say anything else. He just held his wife's hand and finally felt at ease. A moment later, the two of them returned home. When the old man saw Xing Bowen, he was finally relieved. He sat in his wheelchair and kept shouting, "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Grandpa, I've made you worry." Xing Bowen knelt in front of the old man. Don't worry. This won't happen again in the future. It's good that you're safe. Grandpa only wants you to be safe. Chapter 800. This is also your home. You can arrange it yourself. You don't have to ask me. The old man waved his hand and said, Grandpa also wants to meet this Lawyer Shen and thank him properly. Ask Yufei to arrange dinner and call eighth brother and his wife back. Xing Bowen nodded. Hurry up and wash up. Get rid of the bad luck on your body. Then Grandpa, I'll go wash up first. Xing Bowen got up from the ground and dragged Rin Yufei back to the room. I'll go prepare a change of clothes for you. Hurry up and go in. Rin Yufei quickly walked to the closet and took out his shirt, trousers and underwear. Xing Bowen hugged Rin Yufei from behind and placed his chin on her shoulder. I'm sorry, Yufei. What's there to be sorry about? It's not your fault. Rin Yufei let him hug her, and her tone could not help but soften. It's my weakness that makes me a target for others time and time again. I've brought you, the Xing family, and even eighth brother countless trouble. Xing Bowen's tone was hoarse. One could imagine what kind of mental journey he had gone through in the detention center these past few days. It won't happen again. What nonsense are you talking about? Hurry up and take a shower. Rin Yufei turned around and gave him all the clothes. But I miss you. Xing Bowen did not let her go. He dragged Rin Yufei into the bathroom. Let me hug you. I'll feel at ease. Rin Yufei did not know what had happened to him inside and how sad he was. Therefore she could only take off her clothes and use her body to warm up her husband. I'm here. We're all here. No matter what you become, I'll be by your side. I won't leave you. Xing Bowen's eyes turned red, but he did not let Rin Yufei see it. He turned around and hugged her and kissed her passionately. After days of missing her, his body had long been awakened by her hug. It was also in that bathroom that Xing Bowen resolved his lovesickness and took Rin Yufei countless times until she fainted. Then Xing Bowen carried Rin Yufei to bed to rest and changed into a fresh set of clothes. He went out and called Xing Xiao. Lawyer Shen is coming to the Xing family for dinner tonight. Grandpa asked you and Xiaoqi to come over too. You invited him? Xing Xiao asked with a complicated expression. Since they treated me as a target, how could they be so kind as to let me out? Therefore it's better for me to take the initiative. I can also find Xin Yu's flaws earlier. Xing Bowen replied calmly, "Eighth brother, you know that he treats me like a little rabbit. Since Huang Yao is about to merge with Zhongting, let me do something for myself. Let me continue to be that rabbit that can be slaughtered by others." Although what you said makes sense, Huang Yao has already been taken back. You don't need to get involved in this mess anymore. I'm already in the muddy water. What happened in there for a few days? Xing Xiao asked Xing Bowen in return. He could clearly feel that Xing Bowen's mentality had changed. It's nothing, Xing Bowen said. I just don't want to continue being a weapon for Xing Kai to take revenge on the Xing family. I can promise you to give it a try, but don't act rashly. Okay, see you tonight. After they hung up, Xing Xiao immediately looked at Su Che, who was beside him. Go and find out what happened to third brother while he was in the detention center. No matter how kind a person was, after being bullied for a long time, they would know to retaliate. Did Xing Kai want his life that badly? Nightfall. In the luxurious living room of the Xing family. Since a distinguished guest had arrived and they wanted to celebrate Xing Bowen's return, the whole family sat around the long dining table. That included Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi. It's all thanks to Lawyer Shin's help that I was able to get out of there so smoothly this time. Let me toast to you. On Xing Bowen's left was Rin Yufei, and on his right was Xin Yu, as if it was to make it easier for him to take care of his benefactor. I was hired by President Xing. This is my duty. You don't have to be so polite, third young master. Xin Yu's performance was completely different from when he was with Xing Kai. In front of the Xing family he was gentle and polite. Lawyer Xin is so young yet so capable. It really makes this old man very envious. As old Xing spoke, he pointed at the Xing brothers on the table. All of them are good-for-nothings who only know how to piss me off. You flatter me, old Xing. Since you're here, don't be shy. If there's anything you want to eat, feel free to tell me. The atmosphere, it seemed very relaxed. Everyone in the Xing family really treated him like a benefactor. However, it was not surprising that the rest of the Xing family did not know about this. The main thing was, what did Xing Xiao think of him? The old man seems to like you very much. If Lawyer Xin is free, you can come visit often. Xin Yu carefully observed Xing Xiao's every move and expression, but he could not find any flaws. Since old Xing is so kind, it would be impolite for me to refuse. After Xin Yu said that, he picked up his wine glass and clinked it with Xing Bowen's. Don't worry, I'll definitely do my best in this lawsuit. Grandpa, since Huang Yao is now in eighth brother's hands, it's not convenient for me to appear. So, I don't want to return to Huang Yao for the time being. Is that okay? Do whatever you want. The old man did not object. After Xing Bowen heard this, he smiled and turned to Xin Yu. Shall we play golf tomorrow? It's been a long time since I've gone out with my friends so easily. I'll accompany you. Xin Yu agreed readily. Being close to Xing Bowen would also allow him to gain his trust as soon as possible. Then, the second step of the plan would be even easier to carry out. However, Mu Qiqi did not say anything throughout dinner, which made the old man feel rather strange. Qiqi, you're usually so chatty. What's wrong today? You rotten old man, you've let third brother go free, but you've put Master Xiao on the fire again. How can I be happy? Those shareholders of Huang Yao are always unable to do anything, but they're always spoiling things. They're always spouting nonsense. I get annoyed just looking at them. Mu Qiqi snorted lightly. If you really feel the pain, why don't you take care of it? Pretend I didn't say anything. Mu Qiqi immediately admitted defeat. Let him take care of it. With eighth brother taking care of it, Xing Kai won't be able to cause any more trouble. I can also go fishing with your grandfather in peace. Even Xing Kai's matter could be said without any scruples in front of him. It seemed that the Xing family was not on guard against him at all. If that was the case, the game would be fun. Late at night, Xin Yu returned to his villa from the Xing family's residence. He saw Xing Kai sitting on the sofa without saying a word. What? Where's the woman you prepared for me? Chapter 801. I'm not on either side. I'm just teacher's man, Xin Yu answered very seriously. Teacher said that if Xing Bowen goes to prison and gives you a big gift, I'll definitely find him. You don't have to care about where I go to eat. I have my own purpose. Xianxia doesn't suspect you? Based on my judgment, he doesn't seem to suspect me, Xianyu said confidently. Xianyu said confidently, so, you can rest assured that what you hope for will soon come true. The woman you want is in the room upstairs. After saying that, Xingkai got up from the sofa. Xianyu, Godfather went through so much trouble to give me a gift. Makes me feel very scared. Only now did he know how to be scared. Unfortunately, it was too late. Go back. I need to rest. Xianyu couldn't be bothered to chat and play games with him. Xingkai got up and left the villa. However, the doubts in his heart grew and he felt more and more uneasy. This godfather of his treated him too well. However, other than letting him take over Chongrong, he didn't let him do anything else. How could there be such a good thing in the world? It seemed like he had to think of a way to meet his godfather. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. After Mu Qiqi took a shower, she went to the study. When she saw Xiao reading documents, she nestled in his arms. Isn't third brother too enthusiastic about Xianyu? He's clearly one of the murderers who caused him to become like that. He wants to take the initiative to get close to Xianyu and find out from him the second step of the plan to deal with him. How did he know that Xianyu has a second step? What else? Would Xianyu be so kind as to let him out? Xiao hugged her without raising his head and answered, in the afternoon, I asked Su Che to investigate what happened to third brother in the detention center. I found that he has changed. Xianyu is even more important than Xingkai. He knows a lot of things that Xingkai can't know, and he also knows about Baisini's case. Go to sleep. I'll go back to my room after I finish reading this part. Xiao refused to continue the topic. You can read it. I'll sleep here. Like an octopus, Mu Qiqi lay in Xiao's arms and yawned. By the way, after you clean up that pile of trash in Huangyao tomorrow, I want to watch your inauguration press conference. I want to see my man look wise and mighty. Xiao did not say anything. Because according to the current scale of Huangyao, there was no need for him to show up in person or hold any speech. However, since the little thing wanted to see, then he would reluctantly put on an act. Then he waited until Mu Qiqi fell asleep and carried her back to the room. Seeing that she showed no signs of waking up, he called Tang Yan. Is there any news from the informant? The informant approached Mama Bai and realized that she didn't know who she was working for at all. She only interacted with Su Hong for money. If there were suitable resources, she would trade with Su Hong and settle it directly. But Su Hong is not easy to get close to. If you want to gain Su Hong's trust, you might have to sacrifice yourself. In other words, he needed to introduce resources to Su Hong. Or Zhou Xian. Zhou Xian and Su Hong. One is in charge of resources and the other is in charge of security. They have many subordinates and are smart. They don't have any weaknesses. The two of them guarded the secret entrance for the mastermind. That's as far as my men can find. If you want to know more, you have to. Your men can stop now. My men will take action, Xiao said to Tang Yan. Xiao Xing, you're so passionate about this matter. Is it really just because Mu Qiqi wants to know about the case? The people behind Baisini's case are also targeting the Xing family, aren't they? Xing Zhao's tone was slightly cold. It's not just the Xing family. Even you, Qing Bin, are among that group of people now. It's only a matter of time before they deal with you. Tang Yan knew this better than anyone else, and he understood it better than anyone else. I'll wait for your news. The possibility of completing the mission isn't too high. Xiao was certain because the other party was on guard. I'm mentally prepared for this, Tang Yan answered as he looked at the sleeping Feng Shanshan. After she became pregnant, she was especially sleepy. Even if he stood in front of her and spoke now, Feng Shanshan would not wake him up. He had no other wish in this life. At the very least, he wanted to see his child born safely. The next day, Huang Yao held another board meeting. This time, Xiao promised the board of directors that he would come up with a plan for Huang Yao's future. In other words, how far did he plan to develop Huang Yao? Of course, Xiao also said that he would completely clean up the company today. After Huang Yao is merged with Zhongting, the previous management model will be eliminated and Zhongting's system will be adopted. In other words, from now on there will be no more traders. After Huang Yao is merged with Zhongting, it can share Zhongting's technological resources. As you know, in the past year, Zhongting has researched a lot of advanced technologies. This can optimize the internal structure, further improve Huang Yao's efficiency and reduce costs. Thirdly, after the news of Huang Yao merging with Zhongting was released, the relevant departments of Zhongting have done research on Huang Yao. The rise in the stock price also shows that there is a huge problem. The confidence of the shareholders in Huang Yao is not affected by the previous scandals at all. Fourthly, this is the plan of the new Huang Yao. It is estimated that it will be put into use in 5 years. It will be more than 10 times larger than the current Huang Yao. At that time, its overall strength will be able to become the number one in Asia. The team of Zhongting showed the future plan of Huang Yao on the stage in different departments, which excited the shareholders at the conference table. With Zhongting's current speed of development, it would not be difficult to help Huang Yao become the number one in the jewelry street. Seeing the excited faces of the shareholders below the stage, Xianxia finally spoke. Do you still have any questions now? In the end, Huang Yao still needs you. I'm convinced. There's nothing more to say. If Huang Yao can really reach this level in the next 5 years, I won't ask you how you want to manage it. I'm satisfied. I'm really satisfied. The shareholders showed their confidence in Xianxia one after another. Xianxia also knew that this group of people only cared about profit and money. Since that was the case, why not be generous? You've all seen the grand blueprint. In that case, everyone should also remember what I said back then. Xianxia asked the people of Zhongting to take the equipment and retreat. I've drawn up these blueprints not for those who are disloyal to Huang Yao to enjoy. What do you think, Chief Sheng? When Chief Sheng was called, he immediately slammed the table and stood up. Xianxia, what do you mean? Chapter 802. I don't care how many times you've met in private and how many gifts you've received, but if you continue to stay in Huang Yao, I'll feel disgusted. All the directors come and vote. Should we keep a director like him who intends to harm the company's interests? Xianxia, you want to expel me from the board of directors? Director Zheng suddenly understood what Xianxia meant. You guessed right, Xianxia said bluntly. Isn't this what you deserve? The shareholders couldn't help but look at each other. As I said, today's blueprint is built on the foundation of unity. I, Xianxia, will not raise a traitor for nothing and harm everyone's interests. If you keep him for old time's sake, I won't object. But what you saw just now will be a dream. Xianxia tilted his body, his posture elegant. Vote or not? You decide. Everyone thought about it. No matter how deep their friendship was, they couldn't go against their interests, so they said, I'm sorry, Director Zheng. I'm sorry, brother. You. Director Zheng was furious, but there was nothing he could do. After all, more than half of the votes were cast. As long as the director signed it, it would count. A bunch of ingrates. Do you think you're very clean? Director Gao, you and Xing Kai have also met in private. And you, Director Liu, you're not a good person either, are you? That's great. That way I don't have to call names one by one. Xianxia couldn't help but thank Director Zheng for saving him trouble. You know what to do. If you quit, I might be able to save you some face. Xianxia, you'll die a horrible death sooner or later. Seeing that there was nothing he could do, Director Zheng cursed Xianxia loudly. Just you wait. In less than 3 years he'll definitely die without a whole corpse. As soon as he said that, before Xianxia could say anything, Su Che threw him out. He was so fast that no one could react at all. When the other 2 directors saw this, they took the initiative to stand up. Xianxia was not easy to deal with, and his bodyguards were not to be trifled with. A moment later, the meeting room returned to silence. Xianxia glanced at the remaining people and said, since you want Huang Yao to become the number one in Asia, then don't have second thoughts. Because this kind of thing can't escape my eyes. I don't want a few more spies to stab me in the back. So, remember, as long as you're wholeheartedly for Huang Yao, everything is negotiable. I will fulfill my promise to all of you. But if you still want to be bewitched by Xing Kai or coerced by others, then I'm sorry, this cake will never belong to you. I understand what you mean. We must be absolutely loyal. One of the directors understood Xing Zhao's intention. That's right. Xing Zhao nodded. As long as you are loyal, you can sit at home and make money. Why not? If that's the case, then let's make an alliance. Anyone who does anything that harms Huang Yao will be kicked out of the board immediately. I think so. I agree. Zhongting still has matters to attend to. The rest is up to you. Xianxia had achieved his goal and stood up from the chairman's seat. By the way, I'll get someone to prepare for the inauguration conference. This can be considered a shot in the arm for the outside world. After that, Xianxia left the conference room. Before he left, he said to Ren Yufei, third sister-in-law, compile a list of all the positions in Huangyao, including whether you still want to stay in Huangyao. Give me an answer tomorrow. Ren Yufei was stunned for a moment. She didn't expect Xianxia to think so carefully. Since Xing Bowen was no longer in Huangyao, it was not appropriate for her to continue staying. Xing Bowen had already told her his plan last night. He had to deal with Xin Yu's matter first before doing what he wanted to do. He did not force Ren Yufei to continue staying in Huangyao. If Ren Yufei had plans to further her studies, he could accompany her the entire time. Ren Yufei just felt that it was a little inappropriate to leave the burden entirely to Xianxia. After all, Xiaoqi was unhappy. Do you really think that Xiaoqi is angry? Moreover, it's easy for eighth brother to have one more Huangyao. He knows how to use people and knows how to delegate power. He only needs to make some decisions. It won't take much effort at all. Xing Bowen was full of confidence in Xianxia. That person was born to make money. Moreover, he was cunning and unparalleled. You really don't know how to feel sorry for others. He has Xiaoqi to feel sorry for, so I won't join in the fun. Besides, he doesn't care. Xing Bowen hugged his wife and chuckled. Didn't eighth brother ask you to give him an answer tomorrow? Take this opportunity to quit your job. I know you have something you want to do. I can accompany you now. Is it really good for us to be worms like this? Ren Yufei still couldn't bear it. You don't have to feel guilty. Besides, I have a fund and investment plan. Don't forget that I still have shares in the Hu family. My own money is enough to support us. If you really want to work, wait until you learn what you like. Then you can take it as a job. It can also be considered working for the Xing family. Ren Yufei couldn't stand Xing Bowen's words. In the end, she nodded and agreed. How's playing golf with Xin Yu during the day? It's just basic contact. I'm afraid I'll need to go through more things before Xin Yu can show his true colors. Let's not think about this anymore. I'm going to sleep. Xing Bowen naturally changed the topic. However, Ren Yufei couldn't fall asleep no matter what. In fact, she didn't want Xing Bowen to get close to Xin Yu at all. Bowen, actually, I know that after you came out of the detention center, your mentality has changed a little. Although I don't know what you've experienced, I can feel that you seem to hate Xing Kai and those who hurt you. In the darkness, Xing Bowen opened his eyes and said calmly, I'm not a saint. I also feel wronged. I'm afraid that you'll become like Xing Kai. Hearing this, Xing Bowen turned around and hugged Ren Yufei. Silly girl, how is that possible? I just want justice. I don't want to hurt the innocent. After Ren Yufei heard this, she slowly closed her eyes and felt relieved. The next day, Ren Yufei brought the list of Huangyao employees and their resignation letters to Zhongting and met Xianxia. President Xing, this is the list you wanted as well as my resignation letter. I promised Bowen last night that I'll go out with him when I have time. That's a good thing, Xianxia replied without raising his head. Eighth brother, also I feel that Bowen is a little strange. I don't know if it has anything to do with the few days he was locked up. I just feel that his mind has become heavier now. Chapter 803. Su Che had investigated Xing Bowen's situation in the detention center. He had not been put in any trouble, but someone died in the detention center right across from third young master. The last person that person saw and spoke to was third young master, so he must have been traumatized. Su Che told Xianxia the results of the investigation. Xianxia frowned, but only for a second before letting go. Since there's nothing serious, let's put this matter aside. Also, I need you to go to J City. Su Che knew very well what was in J City. I've arranged for 2 people to approach Zhou Xian there, but I'm worried about their safety. You go and receive them. Do whatever it takes to ensure their survival. Why must we get involved in this mess? It was not that Su Che was unwilling to go, but Xianxia was not the kind of person who was nosy. Even if Mu Qiqi really wanted to know the truth behind Bai Sini's case, Xianxia would not joke around with other people's lives. Whether Bai Sini's case can be solved or not has nothing to do with me, but I must find out what the person behind this wants to do with Xing Kai or the Xing family. Why does it have to be Xing Kai? So working with Tang Yan is just to get what we need, Xianxia explained patiently. I understand. Go early and come back early. Also, no matter what you know or what you find out, as long as it's related to safety, retreat immediately. I'll only give you a week. Yes. Su Che nodded. He knew the severity of these matters. However, if Su Che left, Mu Chichi would definitely ask about it. However, it was easy to dismiss him. He only needed to say that he was going home to visit his family and it would be logical. After Xianxia took over Huangyao, he carried out a comprehensive overhaul of Huangyao. At present, the new Huangyao map was still being planned, so Xianxia adjusted the positions of all the previous departments of Huangyao. However, such a ruthless approach would definitely hurt the interests of the old employees. Xianxia got people to appease them. The old employees had two choices. The first was to leave with a high pension and the second was to enter Zhongting to work. Their goal was to remove these people from Huangyao. In just a few days, Huangyao seemed to have been reborn and had a new vitality. 2 days later, Huangyao would hold the inauguration conference of the chairman. Everyone sighed. After so many twists and turns, Huangyao still returned to Xingzhao's hands. If they had known, why would they have wasted so much time? In the evening, Mu Chichi returned home. When she saw the man's tall figure, she was infatuated. She quietly walked over and hugged the man from behind. Xiao Xiao, Xingxiao hummed softly. You're getting more and more alluring, like an unreachable god. Now that I'm hugging you, it's a little unreal. I feel like I'm blaspheming the gods. How? Profanity in bed? Xingxiao smirked. Huangyao and Zhongting are all yours now, but why do I feel that the burden on your shoulders is getting heavier and heavier? How miserable. Xingxiao turned around and carried her to the desk. Then he placed his hands on both sides of her body. Am I pitiful? That's right. Look at those busy people. Their feet don't even touch the ground. Even when they're eating, they're in a hurry. In the end, they toil to death. Do you know what it means to be efficient? Xingxiao hooked her chin and said, for example, right now I can deal with work while letting you. Mu Chichi followed his gaze and knew what he wanted to do. She quickly blocked his line of sight. Rascal. Go out and fill the tub. I'll come over to take a shower right away. Xingxiao patted her cheek and emphasized, with you, I want to come to your inauguration press conference too. Prepare a seat for me. Mu Chichi hooked her arms around Xingzhao's neck and said, I want to see my man at his most handsome. When am I not handsome? When you bully me. After saying that, Mu Chichi got out of Xingzhao's arms and walked briskly back to the bedroom. Soon Xingxiao returned to his room after dealing with work. Mu Chichi lay in the bathtub and waved at him. Xiao Xiao, do you know why I feel that you're pitiful? It's not because you've become the co-chairman, but because you're almost 30. There was a complicated look on Xingzhao's face when he heard that, and it slowly darkened. A man at 30 was clearly a very charming age, but it was not useful with Mu Chichi because she was not even 22 years old. In 2 years I'll be able to call you Master Xiao. Xingxiao did not say anything. He stepped into the bathtub and pressed Mu Chichi down in the bathtub, teaching her a lesson. Do you still think I'm old? You only know how to bully me. Mu Chichi pouted and could no longer be smug. Because of her age, a certain someone was hit where it hurt. That night he pressed Mu Chichi on the bed and bullied her over and over again. In the middle of the night, Mu Chichi could not take it anymore and begged for mercy. I was wrong. Master Xiao, I was wrong. You're not old at all. Really, you're still full of energy. Xingxiao squeezed out all her strength before letting her go and holding her in his arms. Mu Chichi was so tired that she could not even be bothered to lift her eyelids. She only muttered, after a while I'll give you a child. I'm already at the age of a father. I can't lose to my peers. Who cared? He could not even handle one. If there were 2 more, wouldn't he go to heaven? Ever since he handed over Huangyao, Sheng Bowen's energy had returned. He had completely thrown away the burden on his body. When 6th brother saw this, he accepted his fate. There are so many brothers in the family, but 8th brother is really the only one. It's not easy for him to support this family. Since you know it's not easy for him, do you still hate him? Sheng Bowen approached 6th brother and asked. Grandfather used to be biased towards 8th brother. It's not without reason. I suddenly understand why grandfather protected 8th brother in the past. Actually, it's not just because he likes 8th brother, but also because he knows that only 8th brother can ensure the peace of the Sheng family. 6th brother sighed. He knew that he was not talented enough and could not do much. So I plan to withdraw from Huang Yao. Anyway, Huang Yao doesn't lack a mediocre person like me. What do you plan to do? I want to try the education industry. Sixth brother answered. Your sixth sister-in-law has a way. Don't mislead me. Xing Bowen could not help but laugh. But this is pretty good. What about you? What plans do you have after leaving Huang Yao? Chapter 804. Originally, Huang Yao had been led by Xing Bowen. Although it had developed slowly, it was still developing, and the Xing family would not have changed much. Now that Huang Yao had merged into Zhongting, not only Huang Yao but even the Xing family had also taken on a new look. Sheng Kai's godfather had promised him a gift, but he had made the Xing family to the point where he could no longer interfere. He did not know if this gift was for him or the Xing family. Thinking about it, Sheng Kai felt that it was very ironic. In 2 days, it would be Xing Zhao's inauguration conference. Now that Zhongting was leading Huang Yao and Jianchuan, it was like the sun in the sky. Therefore Sheng Kai stayed in the company to drink. When Xin Yu saw this, he could not help but sneer. You're blaming teacher, aren't you? I just don't understand. He asked me to take over Chongrong, but he didn't give me any missions. He said he would give me a gift, but he made the Xing family more united and indestructible. Now, to the Xing family, I'm a complete traitor. Xing Kai's face was red and he was extremely dispirited. Teacher must have his reasons for doing things. You don't have to be discouraged so quickly. You have to know that you have nothing. Xin Yu pointed at his sore spot. I heard that Xing Xiao did nothing for half a year and just hid in the Shen family. Everyone laughed at him and said that he had become a soft-footed shrimp that relied on women. But what happened? Half a year later, Zhongting appeared and he had his current status. He even sat in the same space as the country's leader for the New Year's Eve dinner. Moreover, teacher didn't promise you to deal with the Xing family. He only promised you to send Xing Bowen to prison. Now Xing Bowen is still within our control. He didn't go back on his word. Xing Kai laughed self-deprecatingly and lay down on the sofa. Even if Xing Bowen is in jail, Xing Xiao will get him out and even settle the score with me. I always feel like I'm in a trap. Xing Kai smiled self-deprecatingly and lay down on the sofa. When Xin Yu heard this, a complicated look flashed in his eyes. Then he turned around and saw Xing Kai drunk on the sofa. Only now did he realize that this was a trap? Xin Yu sneered and left Xing Kai's office. He had been very close to Xing Bowen recently, so he could not be detected by Xing Bowen. However, after leaving Chongrong, he took out his phone and called Jean Bo in the car. Teacher, I'm afraid Xing Kai can't be controlled. He seems to have reacted. Nothing can escape my control. Later, I'll send him some missions to stimulate his nerves and he'll be obedient again. Moreover, in the future I'll give him some missions to let him know that following me is his only way out. I understand. Keep an eye on Xing Bowen. When the time is right, take action. Xin Yu nodded. I trust you. Don't let me down. Xin Yu was not like Xing Kai, who lived a muddled life and was used by others for no reason. The reason why he followed Jinbo was because he had been raised by Jinbo since he was young. Xing Kai could not touch Jinbo's fur, but he knew very well why Jinbo wanted to provoke the Xing family. Currently, the mayor was a member of the Shen family, but in 2 years there would be a change of leadership. The reason why Zhongting was so smooth was because of the secret support of the Shen family. Shen Jianchuan was Xing Zhao's father-in-law and one of the main shareholders of Zhongting. Although he did not hold a position, the relationship between the Shen family and the Xing family was like that of lips and teeth. They relied on each other and the foundation of Jianchuan did not collapse. In addition, his teacher had a grudge with the Shen family. With these grudges added together, Jinbo would definitely take revenge on these two families in the future. Now that Huang Yao and Zhongting were tied to Xing Xiao, there was nothing bad about it. When the time came, as long as he dealt with Mu Qiqi, Xing Xiao would immediately collapse. As for Xing Kai, he was just a scapegoat. Just as Xing Xiao had expected. In the past few days, Xing Bowen and Xin Yu met more and more. He seemed to have decided that Xin Yu was his friend. If there was anything good, he was willing to bring this brother with him. They ate, drank and had fun. From time to time he would even take Xin Yu on a night cruise. You've only been out for a short while. It's better to keep a low profile, Xin Yu advised him. Don't get caught again. What does it matter? Now that eighth brother is in charge, I'm just a shrimp soldier. There's nothing worth paying attention to. Don't worry. Xing Bowen put his arm around Xin Yu's shoulder and said, I heard that you're an orphan. Xin Yu's expression changed slightly. When Xing Bowen saw this, he quickly explained, I didn't mean to ask about you. It's just that I feel that there's no brother in life. You don't have a family, so just treat me as your brother. Anyway, I'll think of you whenever I have something to eat and play with. Xin Yu looked at Xing Bowen's innocent face. It seemed that no matter how big the predicament was, he could face it with a smile. Are you born to trust people so easily? Of course not. I also differentiate between people, okay? I naturally trust those who are good to me, such as eighth brother and you. After Xing Bowen said that, he clinked glasses with him. There are many beauties on the ship. You should go and chat with them. I'm married, so I don't have a chance. Xing Yu smiled and nodded. You didn't see sister-in-law? She's been busy studying recently and ignored me. Xing Bowen helplessly picked up his wine glass and drank it in one gulp. Don't trust others so much. Xing Yu smiled faintly. He took his wine glass and went into the crowd. Xing Bowen turned to face the sea, allowing the cold wind to blow on his face. Don't trust others so much? Was it because he felt guilty towards him? He also wanted to know when Xin Yu would make a move on him again. At noon the next day, Gu Xiling put on the airs of the CEO's wife and went to Chongrong to see what Shen Kai was doing. When she saw the invitation to the inauguration conference of the chairman of Huang Yao on his desk, she immediately threw it into the trash can. Do you still have any pride? You actually want to congratulate Xing Xiao on his ascension? You don't know anything, so don't talk. Xing Kai asked his secretary to pick up the invitation. Xing Kai, how long are you going to be fooled by your godfather? Gu Xiling tugged at Xing Kai's collar and said, he gave you Chongrong and didn't let you do anything else. He said he would give you a big gift, but what happened in the end? Xing Xiao directly merged Huang Yao into Zhongting. You don't have any chance at all now. Do you know that? Xing Kai calmly pushed Gu Xiling away and then looked at her coldly. I know what I'm doing. Then you can spend the rest of your life with your godfather. After saying that, Gu Xiling left Chongrong in tears. Chapter 805. However, in this family, only Gu Xiling was sober because Jin Bo was introduced to her by Gu Xiling's grandfather. Speaking of a fire pit, it was his grandfather who pushed him into it. The next day, the inauguration ceremony of Huang Yao's chairman was held at the Four Seas Empire Hotel. Many well-known people in the industry, including Huang Yao's partners, were present to congratulate them. When Xing Kai reached the door, he did not have the courage to go in. Godfather asked him to welcome people with a smile, but he did not want to go in and be mocked by the Xing family. Moments later, Xing Zhao's car stopped at the entrance of the hotel. He got out of the car in a blue-striped retro suit, followed by Mu Qiqi in a long dress. They were about to enter the hotel together, but Xing Xiao seemed to have seen Xing Kai's car. He said to Xiao Qi, you go in and look for your Lu Qianxian. She's here today. I will come in soon. Mu Qiqi glanced to the side and saw Xing Kai's car. She smiled and said, hurry up. After Mu Qiqi went in, Xing Xiao walked to Xing Kai's car. Xing Kai rolled down the car window. He knew that there was no way to escape now. Congratulations, CEO Xing. You tried so hard to get rid of Huang Yao, but now you have it in your pocket again. Even Xing Kai himself did not realize how sour his words were. You control everything like a god and toy with other people's lives. Don't you find it interesting? Get out of Chongrong as soon as possible. At least admit defeat. It's much better than being a scapegoat. Xing Zhao's expression was indifferent. I didn't harm you. You have to understand this. Even if the Xing family doesn't want me, there will always be someone who wants me. I don't have any relatives, but I still have a godfather. I won't go to your inauguration ceremony. Having said that, Xing Kai started the car. Xing Xiao, one day you will lose the most important thing to you. Rather than saying it was a threat, it was more like a curse. The most important thing? The chairman of Huang Yao or Zhongting. It was Qi. Soon Xing Xiao returned to Mu Qiqi's side at the hotel lobby. However, Mu Qiqi was busy chatting with Lu Qianxian and he was busy among the guests. Mu Qiqi, I've never met a friend like you. Do you know how long it's been since we last contacted each other? Lu Qianxian was dressed in bright red, looking bright and generous. She scolded Mu Qiqi right to her face. You're still talking about it. You didn't take the initiative to call me, Mu Qiqi retorted. The two of them looked at each other resentfully and couldn't help but burst into laughter. There was such a kind of friend in the world. Even if they hadn't contacted each other for a long time, as long as they were together, they would still feel comfortable and have endless topics to talk about. You're now the wife of the joint CEO of Huang Yao and Zhongting. That's amazing. Unlike me, I have to work from dawn to dusk every day. Lu Xianxian complained to Mu Qiqi. What about Lin Mu? Why isn't he here? They're training at school. Lu Xianxian answered with a smile. When she mentioned her lover, there was a sweet smile on her lips. In short, keep in touch often in the future. Don't be so distant. How could I? We won't be estranged. The two of them sat together like sisters, and there was no end to their conversation. But soon Xing Zhao's inauguration speech began. In the huge living room where the spotlight was gathered, Xing Zhao walked to the podium amidst the applause. He faced all the guests, noble and confident. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Zhao and felt as if her soul had flown out of her body. This was her man. He was the greatest pride of her life. When I left Huang Yao, I swore to myself that I would never meddle in Huang Yao's affairs again. But ironically, I'm standing here again today. Whether it's my departure or my return, I think there's only one reason, and that's because of my family. The glory of the family. I didn't care when the older generations sacrificed their lives for the glory. But now that I'm married and have a career, I gradually understand how precious the things they want to pass on are. From today onwards, Huang Yao will officially be under Zhongting. I will also officially be the joint CEO. Here I will fulfill all my promises. Within 5 years, Huang Yao will become the best in Asia. Mu Qiqi did not listen carefully to what Xing Zhao said because her head was buzzing and she could not hear anything. She did not know what was going on. At this moment, facing the man standing on the podium, the man who was respected by everyone, she just wanted to press him on the sofa and kiss him hard. Because she knew how charming and perfect his figure was under the suit. As she thought about it, her cheeks turned red. Lu Qianxian noticed her abnormality and quickly asked, "Are you not feeling well? Why are your ears so red?" "I'm fine." Mu Qiqi quickly waved her hand. "Are you proud? Xiaoqi, you got yourself such a perfect man when you were only 17. I'm working hard too." Mu Qiqi puffed out her chest and said, "I'll work harder to be worthy of him." "What do you mean by worthy? Hurry up and give him a child. This old man will be completely tied down." Mu Qiqi frowned when she heard this. "Do you think he's old?" "That's not it. It's just that in the past few years he seems to have become more and more mature. In the past no one dared to provoke him. He was frivolous and didn't play his cards according to common sense. Now that I see him, I only feel that this man seems to have matured a lot. However, I know that he must have more sinister tricks." "You're the sinister one." Mu Qiqi immediately defended him. "Look, you still say that you don't value a lover over a friend. I just said a few words and you became fierce. However, it's understandable. Because to you, Master Zhao's position is not as simple as a husband. In the beginning he was a teacher, an older brother, and later he became an uncle. He's almost done playing the role in your life. It's only human nature for you to protect him like this. It's good that you know. No one could compare to this uniqueness. No one else could even think about touching it. She was the only woman in Xing Zhao's life, the flesh on the tip of his heart." Soon Xing Zhao's inaugural speech ended and applause rang out. Then Xing Zhao left the stage and returned to Mu Qiqi's side. He pinched her face and said, "Didn't you say that you wanted to see me stand on the stage? Why were you daydreaming just now?" Mu Qiqi immediately hugged his hand and shouted, "I'm innocent. I've been thinking about you." "Then what did I say?" Mu Qiqi blinked. They were already an old couple, so there was nothing much to say. She leaned close to Xing Zhao's ear and whispered something. Chapter 806. Mu Qiqi blinked at him. Xing Zhao teased her even more. "Are you trying to squeeze me dry? Chief Xing, take care of yourself." Mu Qiqi knew that Xing Zhao would not do anything to her in front of everyone. It was only because they were in public that she dared to be so presumptuous. Xing Zhao did not say anything. But while the new team of Huang Yao was giving their speech, he dragged Mu Qiqi to the lounge prepared by the team and locked the door. When Mu Qiqi saw Xianxia unbuttoning his shirt, she immediately stuck herself to him. She had been thinking about it just now and her heart was itching. This little one's thoughts were too unconventional. While everyone else was admiring his heroic posture on the stage, she was thinking about how seductive his figure was under the suit. Now I'll let you see all you want. Mu Qiqi did not stay idle. She climbed onto Xianxia's legs and straddled him. That's because others don't dare to think about it. Only I dare. Xianxia stared at this little one. His eyes were burning with a thick flame. His lips gradually curled into a smile. How long have you been thinking about it? Since you stood on it, I'll satisfy you. So it was not that he would get angry when he looked at her. He would also. The little one was young and energetic. It was the age to enjoy the love between men and women. Mu Qiqi blushed. She could not help but look down and then mumbled, "My dress is dirty. I'll be a joke when I go out later." You were quite proud when you lit the fire. Do you still care about the dress now? Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to hug Xianxia tightly. I only care about you. I'm going crazy for you. Xianxia was satisfied after hearing that. The little one was infatuated with him. Xianxia couldn't help but ask for enough of her. Then he carried her into the bathroom and tidied her up. Half an hour later the two of them went out again. However, Mu Qiqi's dress was already wrinkled. If it was Lin Mu and on top, could you still hold it? Mu Qiqi's dress was already wrinkled. When Lu Qianxian saw them, she could guess what they were doing. So she blinked at Mu Qiqi. Can't you hold it in? Lu Qianxian shook her head at that. Only a ghost would be able to control himself. Seeing you guys like this, I'm relieved. It's been a few years. It seems that Master Xiao really wants you for the rest of his life. Of course. Mu Qiqi snorted. How can I joke about that? Show off. After saying that, Lu Qianxian decided to change the topic. If she wanted to talk about Xianxia with Mu Qiqi, she could not stop for a day and a night. Still, Lu Qianxian thought that Mu Qiqi and Xianxia had only been together in the beginning, when Mu Qiqi had a crush on him and suffered. Over the years, Xianxia had protected her well. But would their lives be smooth sailing? Even if Xianxia could summon the wind and summon the rain in Jianchuan, that was precisely why there were more people who saw him as a thorn in their side. If that day really came, he hoped that Qiqi would be able to endure it. Just like that, it was a lively and bustling day. The news was broadcast from morning to night. After the inauguration conference, there would be a luncheon and dinner. Old Master Xing did not attend because of his health. However, when he saw Eighth Brother's appearance on the television news, he was relieved. Huang Yao had merged with Zhongting. Even if he died immediately, he would have no regrets. However, on Xing Kai's side, he did not know how he felt when he saw such news. After all, he had always regarded Eighth Brother as his enemy in this life. What else could Xing Kai feel? Seeing such news, he could only hide in the company and drink. When he went home, he would still be laughed at by Gu Xiling. When Xin Yu entered Changrong, he saw the wine bottles all over the floor. One could imagine that Xing Kai was simply drinking. Lawyer Shen was also invited to Xing Zhao's inauguration conference today. How do you feel? Xin Yu kicked open the wine bottle and pulled Xing Kai onto the sofa. You can't take it anymore? If there's no place for you in the Xing family, can't you earn it yourself? It has nothing to do with you. Xing Kai broke free from Xin Yu's hand. Xin Yu did not continue. He just sat down next to Xing Kai. I'm about to make a move on Xing Bowen. How good is that? Someone will avenge you. What else are you dissatisfied with? After hearing this, Xing Kai sobered up a little. Make a move on what? You don't need to know that. You only need to know that Xing Bowen will definitely go to prison. This is what teacher promised you, and it's also what I promised teacher. What kind of grudge does Godfather have with the Xing family? Xing Kai seized the opportunity to ask Xin Yu the question in his heart. Is he keeping me like this to take revenge on the Xing family? Take revenge on the Xing family? Xin Yu laughed. Of course not. I can only tell you that wiping out the Xing family is also one of teacher's wishes. As long as it's the same as your goal, it's fine. In the future, everything in the Xing family will be yours. I don't see any hope. Teacher will tell you personally. One day. After saying that, Xin Yu snatched the wine bottle from his hand. Arrange a woman for me. The night is long and I'm very lonely. Xing Kai sobered up and propped himself up on the sofa. He did not know if Xin Yu's words were true or false. Xianxia wanted him to withdraw from Changrong. Withdraw? How? Should he return to Huangyao like a pug, wagging his tail and begging for mercy? Thinking of this, he became even more determined to follow Jinbo. Even if he really could not beat Xianxia, he would stay until the end. He wanted to see who would really have the last laugh. Not long after, Jinbo called. "Xiaokai, do you have time? Come to Godfather's place for a drink." "Tell me the address." Jinbo gave him the address over the phone. Xianxia immediately perked up and asked the driver to drive him to Royal Court. When he arrived at the private room, Xianxia saw Jinbo and a group of people he did not know eating. When Jinbo saw him, he quickly explained to the people around him, "He's a child and doesn't know anything. I brought him here to introduce him to everyone. This is my godson Xianxia." Then he whispered into Xianxia's ear, "These are all people around Deputy Mayor Yao. Behave well and don't be rude." Xianxia nodded and immediately picked up his wine glass. He toasted the people he knew one by one. After 3 rounds of drinking, Xianxia finally understood what his godfather was planning. However, he did not make it public. When he left the dinner party, he heard Jinbo say, "Xiaokai, Godfather asked you to stay in Changrong to train your character. Godfather hopes that you will do things for him wholeheartedly." "Godfather trusts me. I will definitely go through fire and water," Xianxia replied. Chapter 807. There are some things that I won't say out loud. You know who I'm doing this for. In 3 years, when the time is up, Jianchuan will be our world. So, on the surface, I'm only giving you Xing Bowen, but in fact I don't plan to let go of anyone in the Xing family. If you're willing to contribute, then I'll count you in. Of course, if you still remember our old friendship, then I won't force you. Now that things had come to this, what way was there for him to turn back? "I'm willing." "Then get along well with Yu," Jinbo said meaningfully. "There will be many opportunities in the future. Young man, stay calm." Xianxia nodded. Although Jinbo still did not give him any missions, at least he knew who his godfather was working for and why. Now he knew why his godfather was so afraid of the Xing family and the Shen family. It was because they were stumbling blocks. "Godfather, with Xianxia around, it's not easy to touch the Xing family. Xianxia is not easy to touch, but there are always people who are. In Jianchuan, who doesn't know what Xingzhao's heart is? If you want to weaken Xingzhao's power, you have to touch his heart. But now is not the time." Heart. He was hinting at Mu Qiqi. Moreover, Mu Qiqi was the daughter of the Shen family. If he touched this person, at least the Xing family and the Shen family would be in a mess. "Akai, when you want to do big things, you must know how to give up and give up." Xianxia nodded secretly. "I understand. If you need anything, Godfather, tell me at any time. It's too late today. Let's go home. I know you've been sleeping in the company recently. There can't only be one woman. Don't wrong yourself. The one at home isn't sensible, but there will always be sensible ones outside. There's no need to be unhappy for her." "I understand, Godfather." Jinbo was very satisfied. He patted Xianxia's shoulder. "Do well." So they were all targeting Mu Qiqi. However, Mu Qiqi had been taught by Xianxia. Her personality and style of doing things were very similar. Did Jinbo think that a girl was easy to deal with? Not really. He had suffered too many losses in Mu Qiqi's hands. Perhaps this was why Jinbo wanted to keep him. However, Jinbo was right. Without Mu Qiqi, Xianxia would lose his heart. Without Xianxia, the Shen family and the Xing family would lose their protective talisman. At that time, it would be easy for him to make a move. Mu Qiqi did not know that she had become a target. When she got home, she told Mama Xing about the grand occasion at the hotel. Xianxia sat by the side and listened to her nonsense, but he could not hide the smile at the corner of his eyes. Mama Xing did not hear anything from Mu Qiqi. She could tell that Mu Qiqi admired her son. Therefore she also smiled. "Xiaoqi, in your heart he is a treasure. No matter what, he is always heroic. So Mommy doesn't think he's handsome. It's our own son. Who cares if he's handsome or not? Even if he's ugly, we still have to acknowledge him." Mu Qiqi thought about it carefully. That made sense. The one who had jumped out of her stomach did not seem to be ugly, so she did not care too much. However, today she was so focused on the difference between Xianxia and not wearing a suit that she had forgotten that she had not seen Suche for a few days. "Where's Suche?" "He went home to visit his family," Xianxia answered naturally. He'll be gone for a few more days. I've never heard you talk about Su Che's family. It's been a long day. Let's go upstairs and take a shower. With that, Xianxia got up. Mu Qiqi followed behind him, but she did not follow him into the bathroom. She waited until he was soaking in the bathtub before she took a pillow and stuffed it into her belly. Then she walked up to him. So this is what pregnancy feels like. Xianxia opened his eyes and saw her messing around. His face darkened. What are you playing at now? Didn't Mom say that she doesn't mind her own child? I just want to try and imagine what it feels like. Xianxia grabbed her arm and pulled her closer to his handsome face. There was a hint of helplessness in his eyes. What are you hinting at? I'm not hinting at anything. I know I can't give birth to your child yet. Mu Qiqi took out the pillow from her abdomen. I just occasionally think about what it would feel like to be pregnant with your child and give birth to your baby. After Xianxia heard this, he let go of her. I plan to have a child after I'm 35. I'm already 27. Mu Qiqi protested. Actually, it's the best age for a man to have a child at 32. Then let's make it 32. Don't think about it before that. Xianxia deliberately said it later. This thing would definitely go to the middle part in order to compromise. It turned out that he knew her well enough. After Mu Qiqi was disappointed, Xianxia pulled her into the bathtub with one hand. Giving birth is not as easy as you think. Even if you're 24 years old, you've just started working. It's not suitable for you to have a child at all. Don't forget that you still have a lot of youth just because you're envious of others. Mu Qiqi leaned into Xianxiao's arms and nodded gently. As long as it's for you, I can do anything crazy. But look at me. I know. In fact, Xianxia knew that Mu Qiqi had already tested him time and time again for the sake of having a child. However, her situation was different from Feng Xianxian's. Be good and don't cause trouble for me all day. When did I cause trouble for you? Mu Qiqi couldn't help but defend herself. She went to class on time and went to Sonda class on time during the holidays. There was no student more obedient than her. I messed with one at noon. Xianxia stood on the stage and spoke, but Mu Qiqi was thinking about taking off her suit. Didn't you feel good then? Mu Qiqi drew circles on his chest. Since you came during the day, you'll let me sleep at night, right? Yes. Xianxia nodded. He had no objections. But the truth was, didn't you say that you'll let me sleep? You sleep. Even if he didn't want children, he was still so diligent. Moreover, the most terrifying thing was that he knew her menstrual cycle at all times. He was like a god who knew when she would get pregnant and when she wouldn't. Mu Qiqi thought to herself that it would be great if she was really pregnant. She could rest for 10 months. After Xing Zhao's inauguration ceremony, Xing Bowen asked Xin Yu out for a drink on a cruise. It was obvious that he was really happy that this heavy burden had been taken away by Xing Xiao. I'm going mountain climbing in a few days. Do you want to bring you along? Xing Bowen asked Xin Yu in a good mood. I'll be alone. Yufei has classes and can't leave. I'm bored and want to find a companion. Which mountain? Xin Yu asked. Chapter 808. On foot. Drive to the foot of the mountain, Xing Bowen replied. Then let's set it for 3 days later. I'll call you in the morning. You don't have any cases to deal with, right? I've only accepted your case for now, Xin Yu answered with a hidden meaning. Then I'll pick you up when the time comes. Xing Bowen looked unsuspecting and confided in Xin Yu. On one hand, Xin Yu felt that Xing Bowen was very pitiful, but on the other hand he felt that Xing Bowen was very sad. Xing Xiao was so difficult to deal with, but his brothers were all stupid. He was just worried that he wouldn't be able to find an opportunity to deal with Xing Bowen, but he didn't expect him to deliver himself to him. That was good. It wasn't a good idea to keep dragging things out like this. Then I'll prepare early. It's still very cold on the mountain. Prepare more clothes. With that, Xing Bowen patted Xin Yu on the shoulder. Xin Yu thought that Xing Bowen didn't know what he was going to prepare, but he was wrong. Xing Bowen knew that Xin Yu had not taken action for so many days because he didn't seem to be giving the two of them a chance to be alone. So he gave it to him. He planned to make a big move and see how Xin Yu would deal with it. After returning home, he told Rin Yufei, in 3 days Xin Yu and I will go out. Yufei, I might have to trouble you to help me pack my things. Just the two of you? Rin Yufei stopped what she was doing and turned to look at Shen Bowen. Do you know? I know, but it's precisely because I know that I have to do this. Xinyu has always been very cautious because this is Jianchuan and Xingxiao is here. But if he leaves Jianchuan he will have a chance, Xing Bowen explained and looked at Rin Yufei seriously. Xing Bowen explained and looked at Rin Yufei very seriously. I also know that you will be worried about me, but I don't want to be like that person in the detention center and die in there without knowing why. That place is hell. I can promise you that I'll let you go alone, but you have to discuss it with eighth brother. You have to be fully prepared. That was the bottom line of Rin Yufei's compromise. As soon as Rin Yufei finished speaking, Xing Bowen pulled her into his arms and rubbed her hard, just wanting to rub her into his body. Yufei, I'm sorry. Since we're husband and wife, there's nothing wrong with that. I know you feel wronged and have doubts in your heart. Since you want to understand, go ahead. Don't worry about me. She knew what Xing Bowen had seen in the detention center, and she could understand why he was so afraid. I won't let anything happen to me. Xing Bowen let go of Rin Yufei and kissed her forehead. Because I still want to be happy with you for a long time. Then hurry up and discuss it with eighth brother. So late. Let's go tomorrow. Xing Bowen carried Rin Yufei to bed. It's time to rest. The two of them had not taken off their clothes nor had they taken a shower. Seriously, they were lying together and hugging each other. Rin Yufei could not help but say, "Don't always make me so worried." Xing Bowen did not answer. After a long while he replied with a clear word above Rin Yufei's head, "Okay." Xinyu did not expect that the opportunity would come so quickly. It was just that the other party had walked right into the trap like a fool. When he returned to the villa that night, Xinyu saw that Xing Kai was also sitting on the sofa in his house. He smiled. "I'm really not done with you guys. I've arranged for 2 starlets. They're on their way. I'll borrow your room for a night of passion," Xing Kai replied, leaning on the sofa. "You wanted to? Don't tell me that I have to keep my chastity for a woman like that," Xing Kai asked. Then he smelled the alcohol on Xinyu's body and asked, "Did you see Xing Bowen again? In 3 days your brother will go to prison again." Xinyu went to the kitchen to get a beer and sat at the dining table. "You're just like your brother. You're so stupid that it makes my heart ache. I was still thinking of creating an opportunity, but I didn't expect him to come knocking on my door. Go to prison? Don't tell me it's like trying to send the old man to the hospital again. It's all for naught? Don't worry. This time no one can save him." After saying this, Xinyu entered his room, leaving Xing Kai alone on the sofa, conflicted. That feeling was neither happy nor sad. It was very complicated. When the 2 starlets arrived, he would each choose one and bring them back to his room. Guxiling? Marriage? From now on they were nothing in Xing Kai's eyes. Of course, Guxiling was used to Xing Kai not spending the night at home. However, she knew that Xing Kai would not dare to act rashly. But this time, it was different. The next day Xing Bowen called Xingxiao and told him that he had already made a big move against Xinyu yesterday. "I asked him to meet me at Mount Yueying in 3 days. Xingxiao was silent for a while and only said one word. "You don't blame me. Instead of waiting for death, it's better to take the initiative to attack. Isn't that what you said?" Xingxiao replied calmly on the other end of the phone. "Drive your car out later. I'll send someone to pick it up. What are you going to do?" "Do what I have to do." Cameras from all angles were indispensable. A GPS system was also indispensable. At the same time, there would be a lot of medicine in the car just in case. "Also hand over your phone. I'll send it to Zhongting's technical department and deal with it for you." "What else?" Xing Bowen asked. He really felt that having such a younger brother was a blessing that he had cultivated for 8 lifetimes. However, he was clearly a younger brother, but Xingxiao was experienced and mature. He was more like an older brother who took care of him. "Also, I'll send people to the mountain and the surroundings in advance. 3 days later you have to be careful. He won't go so far as to kill me because everyone knows that I left with him. He won't dare. He doesn't want to kill you." Xingxiao dispelled his concerns. "Otherwise you would have died 1,000 times over." The reason why Xingxiao said this was because the incident of old Qing being hit had constantly stimulated his nerves. If the person behind Xinyu really wanted to kill him, there was no need for it to be so troublesome. Obviously, he still wanted to get something from Xing Bowen, or rather, put him in an even more terrifying situation. I should have let Su Che follow you, but Su Che has gone to do something more important. There's no need. If I really need to protect him to that extent, Xinyu will definitely notice. Xing Bowen also refused to be protected by him. What you said is enough. If anything happens, call the police immediately. This was the last thing Xing Xiao could remind him of. Of course, on the day Xing Bowen left, he would also set off to the foot of the mountain. That way, even if something really happened to Xing Bowen, he could still support him at any time. Eighth brother, if something really happens to me, you must help me comfort Yu Fei. Chapter 809. Alright, I'll pray to myself that everything will be fine. Xing Bowen comforted himself and hypnotized himself that everything would go smoothly. However, before hanging up the phone, Xing Bowen could not help but comment on Xing Xiao. Eighth brother, you're actually quite heartless. I've always been like this. With that, Xing Xiao hung up the phone. Yes, that's the truth. Xing Bowen put down his phone and let out a long sigh. Not long after, Xing Bowen went out and got someone to drive the car out. At the same time, he sent his phone over and took out a spare phone to avoid arousing suspicion. It was rare for old Master Xing to be in good spirits. He was drinking tea in the garden. Seeing that Xing Bowen's recent behavior was strange, he called him over and sized him up. Have you been very close to Lawyer Shen recently? He's not bad. Xing Bowen smiled. Third brother, you didn't like to eat, drink, and be a playboy in the past. Ever since you came out of the detention center, your behavior has become more and more strange. As old Master Xing drank his tea, he said to him earnestly, I don't have the strength to do anything now. You young people don't like to tell me what's on your mind. I'm always the last to know about what happened recently. However, third brother, even if Grandpa can't do anything, I still hope that you can tell me if you're in trouble. Even if Grandpa can't help you, I've seen more people than you, right? Grandpa, it's really fine. In 2 days I'll go out with Lawyer Shen to relax. I promise you that when I come back I'll definitely adjust my state. Xing Bowen did not show any abnormalities. The old man did not force him. He knew that he wanted to go out to relax and felt that this was a good idea. Aren't you going to bring Yu Fei along? She hasn't been feeling well for the past 2 days. I'll let her stay at home to rest. Xing Bowen casually gave a reason. Alright, I'll get the butler to take good care of Yu Fei for you. Don't worry. Xing Bowen looked at the old man and did not move his eyes away for a long time. After a while he said, Grandpa, you look better. It seems that with eighth brother around you can spend your remaining years in peace. The old man snorted and rolled his eyes at him. Don't act like a good boy in front of me. Go out and play for a few days. You have to be the same when you come back. I feel really uncomfortable seeing you like this. Got it. Xing Bowen agreed obediently. However, in the next 2 days Xing Bowen liquidated all his assets and organized them into a document bag. He was afraid that giving it to Rin Yufei would increase her psychological burden, so Xing Bowen sent the documents to the Banyan courtyard and specifically handed them to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi was puzzled when she received the yellow paper bag. She thought that it was something from the school, but when she opened it in the study she found that it was all proof of Xing Bowen's assets. There was also a letter. Xiaoqi, if anything happens to me when I go out tomorrow, give all of this information to Yufei in the future. I'm not a competent husband and I can't bring her much happiness. This is the only thing I can do for her. Mu Qiqi frowned and sat on the chair in the study. She did not come back to her senses for a long time. What was she going to do tomorrow? At that thought, Mu Qiqi was about to call Xing Bowen when Xing Xiao pushed the door open and entered. Thinking that the man might know something, Mu Qiqi showed him the letter. After Xing Xiao read it, his brows furrowed deeply. He did not intend to drag the little one in, so he did not tell Mu Qiqi that Xing Bowen was going out. However, now that Xing Bowen had sent a letter, the little one definitely could not hide it anymore. What does third brother mean by this? Xing Xiao was not in a hurry to explain. Instead he sat down on the sofa and waved Mu Qiqi over. Mu Qiqi took the letter and sat on his lap. She looked at him solemnly. Old man, you've been hiding more and more things from me recently. Don't call me old man. All right, Master Xiao, can you tell me what this means now? Mu Qiqi waved the thing in her hand and said, Third brother's assets are all here. I didn't expect him to be so rich. What's a few hundred million? Is he going to make arrangements for his funeral? Xianxia took the letter and looked at it a few times. Then he put it aside. 3 days ago he asked Xinyu to climb the mountain. He wanted to draw out Xinyu's next move because he knew very well that Xinyu had bailed him out. It was impossible for him to not have a next step. So he took the initiative to attack and wanted to find out the truth behind it. I know he's taking the initiative to get close to Xinyu, but the two of them went out alone and you let him go? Mu Qiqi was in disbelief. He's not as weak as you think, Xianxia said calmly. He sent me all this. It's really not convincing. Mu Qiqi put down the documents in her hand and felt a little helpless. He wants to pretend to be a little white rabbit again, right? But this time the person behind it is the mastermind of Bai Sini's case. That will really kill him. I've already set up surveillance in his car, on his phone, and around Mount Yuang. As long as Xinyu makes a move, he won't be able to get anything out of it. How confident are you? Mu Qiqi put her hand around Xingzhao's neck and asked. Third brother, when I was in the detention center I saw someone die in front of him for no reason, Xianxia explained. Why did he agree to Xing Bowen taking the risk? That was the shadow in Xing Bowen's heart, the knot in his heart. Mu Qiqi immediately quietened down. If she were in his shoes she might have gone crazy too. A sudden frame-up and the bullying of a kind and honest person. Anyone who had experienced this would question the path they had taken and the things they believed in. Were they all wrong? What are your plans that day? Xianxia took off his coat and loosened the buttons on his shirt. He answered Mu Qiqi, I've already found a place at the foot of the mountain. I'll go over to pick you up when the time comes. I'll go with you. Xianxia knew that once Mu Qiqi found out about this, she would definitely not stand by and do nothing. So he only said in a low voice, You don't have class tomorrow afternoon. I'll pick you up in the afternoon. Can you go take a shower? Mu Qiqi was satisfied. She put away the things on the table and put them back into the yellow paper bag. She locked it in Xingzhao's drawer. This is third brother's money. I have to keep it safe for him. Xing Bowen was not as weak as he thought, and naturally the little one was not either. If he let this little one know after the fact, she would have to let her imagination run wild again. It was better to keep it under her nose and be at ease. The next morning, Ren Yufei woke up early to help Xing Bowen pack his luggage. However, her eyes were red. It was obvious that she had just cried. Xing Bowen's heart ached, but there was nothing he could do. I promise you that I'll come back safe and sound. Trust me. It's cold on the mountain. I've prepared 2 coats for you. If you're cold, take them out and put them on. Chapter 8:10. Call me at any time. Xing Bowen nodded and looked at his sports watch. He realized that it was getting late, so he carried his luggage on his back. It's almost time for me to set off. I still have to take a detour to pick up Xinyu. Ren Yufei nodded gently, but her hands were already tightly clenched. I'll send you out. Xing Bowen knew that she was worried, so he did not say anything. However, when he saw that she was so flustered that she even put on the wrong shoes, he pressed her against the door and kissed her passionately. He couldn't bear to, but there were some things that he had to do. He couldn't wait for others to plot against him before he regretted it. At this moment, Ren Yufei allowed herself to indulge in it as her teeth were pried open by that soft tongue. The two of them kissed passionately for a long time before Xing Bowen let her go. Don't send me off. I'm leaving. With that he disappeared from the door. Ren Yufei did not follow him out. She just touched her lips because Xing Bowen's warmth still lingered on them. Be careful when you're outside. This was old Master Sheng's last instruction. A moment later, Xing Bowen drove the black SUV and disappeared from the Xing family's iron gate. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. Xing Bowen arrived at the villa on time according to the address provided by Xinyu. Xinyu, who was dressed in light sports gear, stood at the entrance of the villa and waited. Have you been waiting for a long time? I just left. Xinyu put his backpack in the trunk and sat in the front passenger seat. If you haven't slept enough, you can sleep a little longer. It's a 4-hour journey from here. By the time we reach the foot of the mountain, it'll be noon. We'll have lunch at the hotel at the foot of the mountain. We'll climb the mountain in the afternoon. Okay, I'll listen to your arrangements. In other words, the car would be parked in the hotel. Xinyu's gaze gently glanced at the trunk. It was at this moment that the two of them began to draw the route on Xing Zhao's computer. Xing Xiao also put away his computer and picked up his coat. He followed Xinyu to pick up Mu Qiqi and set off for Mount Yuang. However, after picking up Mu Qiqi, she looked at Xing Zhao's new driver and was a little puzzled. Didn't Su Che go home to visit his family? Don't be so smart. Xing Xiao could not help but remind her. We'll talk about this later. Mu Qiqi did not ask further. She just looked at the computer on Xing Xiao. How many cameras did you install on third brother's car? There's not even a blind spot. Don't talk. Lean against me and sleep for a while. It will take a long time. I'm just asking, how many people did you bring? 4 of them have gone first. There are still 6 more to go. Xing Xiao stared at the screen, but he answered Mu Qiqi seriously. Mu Qiqi felt at ease and leaned into Xing Zhao's arms. After a few hours she had to sleep. In fact, when Xing Xiao and Qiao Lian set off, Xing Bowen and Qiao Lian had already had lunch at the hotel at the foot of the mountain and parked their car. The two of them carried a backpack each. It looked like they were going to climb a mountain. From the looks of it, it doesn't seem like your first time climbing a mountain. Xing Bowen saw that Xinyu had taken out the professional equipment and was excited. Then I've really found the right person. In the past, when I was abroad, I had nowhere to vent when I was upset, so I often went out to climb mountains alone, Xinyu explained. I thought there was no case you couldn't win. It's precisely because I have to win that I need to put in more effort. There was a hidden meaning in Xinyu's words. I'm an orphan, unlike young masters like you who have lived a luxurious life since I was young. If I didn't work harder, I wouldn't have lived to this day. This is the first time I've heard you talk about your family. Xing Bowen smiled as he walked. Tell me more. I'm curious. We're brothers, but I still don't know anything about you. I grew up in an orphanage. Later I was adopted by an old man. He supported me until I graduated from college. After I became financially independent, I never saw him again. Xinyu briefly explained his background. What about a girlfriend? Haven't you dated? Xing Bowen winked at him nosily. I did, but not for long. Then I'll definitely keep a suitable one for you. Who asked you to be my brother? Xing Bowen stopped walking and patted Xinyu on the shoulder. The scenery of Mount Yuang is very good. It's a pity that Yufei can't come with us. I actually have to share such a beautiful place with a man. Feels strange. After saying that, Xing Bowen pushed Xinyu from behind. Hurry up. It'll take 5 or 6 hours to get up. When Xinyu saw that he had touched his backpack, he subconsciously changed his shoulder. When I get serious, I'm very fast. You won't be able to catch up at all. Xing Bowen couldn't help but laugh. Then let's compete. In fact, Xing Bowen saw Xinyu's action of protecting his backpack. However, he had to pretend that he didn't know anything. His backpack was full of clothes and food as well as some medicine and water. However, what was hidden in Xinyu's backpack was definitely a weapon against him. However, it didn't matter because sooner or later, Xinyu would open the bag in front of him. The two of them chased each other and climbed to the top of the mountain. Even though they were 2 athletes, it took them 4.5 hours. In addition, the weather on the mountain was unpredictable. Xing Bowen suggested that they find a hotel to stay in first. 2 young people, don't go any further. It's snowing heavily. Hurry up and find a place to stay, the natives on the mountain reminded the two of them. Xinyu and Xing Bowen looked at each other and nodded. Then let's find a random guest house. In order not to arouse Xinyu's suspicion, Xing Bowen did not book a hotel in advance. A random place would not easily arouse suspicion. The two of them found a nearby guest house to stay in. Because of the snow, a bonfire was lit in the guest house. Xing Bowen handed his coat to Xinyu and smiled. You said that you often climb mountains, but you didn't know to bring more clothes. The mountains abroad aren't this high and they aren't this cold. Looks like we'll have to stay here tonight. Do you want to drink? Xing Bowen sat on the chair and smiled. In this kind of weather, around the bonfire and drinking a little wine, you'll sleep very comfortably at night. Yes. Xinyu nodded. No one knew what he was thinking. No, it should be said that at this moment he actually didn't know what Xing Bowen was thinking. Was he really not on guard at all? The two of them sat together with their own thoughts. Not long after, the snow drifted in. So beautiful. Then let's take a few more looks. Because once they entered, they wouldn't be able to see anything. Sheng Bowen seemed to hear the underlying meaning in Xin Yu's words and smiled. Yes, it's a rare opportunity in the future. I originally wanted to see the sunrise, but it seems like it's not going to happen. You won't be able to see tomorrow's sunrise, Xin Yu thought to himself. Chapter 8:11. At the same time, Xianxia and Mu Qiqi had just arrived at the hotel at the foot of the mountain. Although it was already April or May, it was still much cooler in the mountains than in the city. In addition to the rain, Mu Qiqi had been in Xingzhao's arms ever since she got out of the car, shivering from the cold. After entering the hotel, Xingzhao carried her to the big bed and covered her with a blanket. Mu Qiqi took a while to calm down and finally stopped freezing. Then she asked Xingzhao, "Is there any movement from third brother?" "There won't be any tonight." Xingzhao put down the computer and looked at the GPS. One showed Xing Bowen's location, and the other showed Xing Bowen's car parked in front of the hotel. "This Xin Yu sure can keep his cool." Mu Qiqi poked her head out of the blanket and watched the man beside her take off his clothes. A moment later, the hotel service delivered freshly cooked food. Mu Qiqi was so hungry that her eyes were dizzy. She quickly got up. Xingzhao changed his clothes and sat next to her, accompanying her to eat. "Why did you bring wine?" "This is plum wine brewed by the locals. Drink some. It can warm up your body." Xingzhao took out a wine glass and poured her a small sip. Usually this man never let her drink. He knew that she couldn't hold her liquor well, but now he was taking the initiative to let her drink. There must be a trick behind it. "Are you going to do something tonight?" Mu Qiqi pressed Xingzhao's hand and asked, "Do you want to get me drunk and go out by yourself?" Xingzhao pointed at the computer beside him with his chin and said, "There's no movement from there now. Who knows what Xin Yu is planning?" After thinking about it, Mu Qiqi decided to believe Xingzhao. After all, if he had known beforehand, he wouldn't have allowed third brother to take the risk. "Then I'll take a small sip." Mu Qiqi held the wine glass and took a small sip. The fruity wine entered her stomach and warmed her entire body. How magical! Xingzhao looked at her and did not say anything. A moment later, he saw the little thing's face turn red and hot. "Oh, I'm dizzy." After saying that, Mu Qiqi climbed onto the big bed behind her. Xingzhao got up and carried her to the big bed. Then he adjusted the temperature of the room so that she could sleep comfortably. Wasn't this kind of weather suitable for sleeping? Soon Mu Qiqi fell asleep and her breathing became even. Xingzhao turned off the lights in the room and sat in front of the computer to call Xing Bowen. Xing Bowen was still drinking on the mountain. When he received the call, he generously answered it in front of Xin Yu. "Eighth brother, what's the matter? Did you forget that Huang Yao still has something to do with me? Did you go out to play?" Xing Zhao's voice was cold, but it was a familiar tone. "I'll look for you when I get back," Xing Bowen said with a slight smell of alcohol. "I'm on the mountain now anyway. You can't find me. Come back soon." "Got it, eighth brother. I'm drinking. I can't talk to you anymore. It's snowing on the mountain and my claws are hurting from the cold." Xing Bowen hung up the phone. Xin Yu sat beside him and listened. His heart gradually relaxed because Xingzhao did not notice anything. He did not even know that Xing Bowen had gone out to climb the mountain. "It's snowing anyway, let's continue drinking." Xingzhao hung up the phone and looked at the computer. At the moment there was no movement at all. It was like the calm before the storm. At this moment, Mu Qiqi suddenly sat up from the bed and looked at Xingzhao. "Xiao, did something happen to third brother?" She was thinking about Xin Bowen, so she could not sleep well. However, he could not force her to drink too much. He was afraid that her stomach would feel uncomfortable. "No." Xingzhao got up and sat on the bed. He hugged Mu Qiqi in his arms and comforted her. "Sleep." Mu Qiqi widened her eyes and looked at Xingzhao. "You lied to me. You just wanted to get me drunk." Xingzhao did not say anything. He suddenly turned over and pressed her under his body. Instead of coaxing her and forcing her to drink, he might as well use the most primitive method to make her fall asleep. Perhaps it was the effect of the alcohol, but Mu Qiqi only felt that her head was empty and her entire body was floating. It was a familiar touch and a familiar kiss. Mu Qiqi closed her eyes and enjoyed it. Soon, there were soft moans coming from her mouth, and the intense lovemaking came to an end in the heavy rain. This time Mu Qiqi really fell asleep. Xianxia got off the bed and wiped her down before letting her rest. Then he put on his nightgown and stood in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. The computer beside him was always on and the red dot on the screen was constantly flashing. At 3 o'clock in the morning, the heavy snow suddenly stopped. Xingbowen woke up from the sofa in the guest house and saw that the bonfire in front of him was still burning. Xingyu was adding fuel to the fire. I fell asleep. Go in and sleep. You drank a lot, Xingyu urged him. No need. I brought medicine. I'll go take one. After saying that, Xingbowen staggered to his feet. Fortunately, Xingyu supported him. Where's the medicine? I'll help you get it. It's in my backpack. Xingbowen felt very dizzy and quickly sat back on the sofa. Xingyu entered the door and got Xingbowen the medicine. However, a few minutes later someone called Xingbowen. Xingbowen picked up the call and heard the hotel service at the foot of the mountain say anxiously, Mr. Xing, XX8467 is your license plate number, right? Yes, what's the matter? The manager went out to check just now and found that your car is missing. Seems to have been stolen. Xingbowen sobered up a little and immediately got up. Call the police immediately. I'll think of a way to get down the mountain. Therefore, when Xingyu came out, he saw Xingbowen asking the boss about going down the mountain. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Even if the old man dares to drive this car, you guys wouldn't dare to sit in it. The boss of the guest house was a little troubled. That car is really important to me, Xingbowen said anxiously. What's wrong? Xingyu quickly went up to him and handed the medicine to Xingbowen. The hotel called and said that my car was stolen. That car is very important to me, so I talked to the boss about going down the mountain. Xingbowen tried his best to stay awake. If I had known, I wouldn't have drunk so much. Boss, I'll pay double the price. Send us down the mountain, Xingyu said. Especially when he saw Xingbowen's anxious expression, he said, that car is very important to my friend. After thinking about it, the boss finally nodded. Then I'll drive slowly. Looking at the time, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. Xianxia finally saw another small dot on the computer screen moving quickly down the mountain. Xingbowen had gone down the mountain. Of course, he knew where Xingbowen's car was and who had stolen it. After all, there were very hidden surveillance cameras in the car. However, why did Xingyu lure Xingbowen down the mountain like this? The rain outside had just stopped, and the road was dark and slippery. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.